Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. This is a very special event. This is something that I do every year. Just so happened to fall on PB Precipice this year, so I guess this is technically an episode of PB Precipice. But in reality, this is the Ocarina of Time Bingo Tournament Showcase. So I am joined here by Nale Sounds. Nale, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing great. I'm excited to watch and talk over some bingo. Get to show that.
Heck yeah. So Nale and I were both in the tournament at one point.
Not anymore.
We're both not in the tournament anymore. We both did well, I would say.
Yeah, we made it into bracket stage. We started in the same group as well, so that was fun.
Yeah. So it started in a group stage where everybody would round robin in their group. And then players with the most wins out of their group moved on to the bracket stage. And we are now deep in the bracket. On the winner's side of the bracket, this is double elimination. On the winner's side of the bracket, we are in, I believe, top 8? Top 4?
Top 4 currently, as of today.
And then on the loser's side, we've got quite a few races still to play, and we will be seeing 2 losers bracket matches today on the show. Our first match will be between Link 11 and Literally Lake, who are 2 incredibly accomplished players. They're both great Ocarina of Time speedrunners. Link, the Bing God himself, and Lake, the other L name that we're showcasing today.
There's
Lake,
a lot of alliteration today, so that's wonderful.
Lake, also a great bingo player and a tremendous RTA speedrunner, so we've got a great match to showcase. Really quickly, I want to talk about what bingo is, and we'll probably cover this a couple of times throughout this show. But as you can see, I have sort of a faux board. So we've got just a bingo card I generated, but not the one that'll be used for the race on stream right now. And this bingo card, you'll notice, has 5x5 rows and columns of randomly generated goals. So for instance, we'll have a goal like long shot. So this is pretty simple. Acquire the long shot. Or 3 boots. That means, get the iron boots, get the hover boots, and you start with the kokiri boots. So all the goals are pretty straightforward, but where the magic of bingo comes in is when you look at an entire column, because the goal of the race is to finish a row, a column, or a diagonal faster than your opponent can. So you pick one of these rows, the one that you think is fastest and fits your play style the best, and then you try to win. Nale, any extra thoughts on bingo?
I mean, you explained it, what it is, like essentially perfectly. Like that's what it is.
Well, thank you.
And then there's some stuff to add about, like, we are constantly like rebalancing and readjusting like what types of goals can be generated next to each other and all that, because we want to keep it like relatively balanced so that someone picking a row doesn't get like a 25-minute time and the other takes like 4 hours. We don't really want that to be possible,
Right.
Because it's designed to be like in a race setting, so we want to be relatively balanced. But it's still very important to being able to notice which rows are, or you think you can execute fastest on. And some of them which might come up will involve some a typical Ocarina of Time tomfoolery, one can say, which we'll go over if it happens. And there's a lot to talk about in bingo. So,
but we've got a lot of time. In general, bingo races, especially at this level, which is absolutely and definitively the top level, races usually fall within about 1 hour 5 minutes to like 1 hour 20. That is sort of the time that players are looking to hit. I would say both of our players definitely looking to get under 110 is probably, hey, that's a good cushion. That gives me a good opportunity to win here. But I think with that, I feel pretty good if we're ready to, I'll check in with our runners quickly. Runners, if you want to post in the race time chat if you're feeling ready to go, and if so, you can absolutely ready up. All right, both of our players are ready. So Nale, I'm gonna give you a countdown here for the, or I guess you can just start it and I'll count down for the actual time.
Because it's gonna start counting down from -15. So I'm gonna click now, and you have 15 seconds to fix it.
Okay, I'm gonna move our racers into other Discord voice channels. And here we go in 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, here we go, and I'm going to pull up the card here. So here's the card. This is the card that the racers will be using. We aren't going to know for a while probably what row or column they pick because they have the intro cutscene here to decide. So they've got the intro to sort of look at all the goals, all the rows and everything, and decide what row fits their playstyle. So now, looking at this board, what do you see right away?
The quick thing that I, or at least a few other people like to do, is mark goals with similar requirements in terms of like main or side quest status. Like what types of, which goals require Solace Lullaby, which are in the same general overworld like region. Like, do I have a lot of Gerudo Desert stuff? Do I have a lot of Sora's Fountain or Sora's Domain stuff? So you want to try to look for things like that. Or some people just have certain goals that they are very, very comfortable doing, and some goals that they absolutely hate doing. I know for a fact that I said this jokingly before we went live, that if 37th Heart Piece shows up, that they will both be picking it, right? Because that's one of my favorite goals. I love doing that goal. And both Lake and Link, they kind of laughed in my face and said, no, I'm not picking that. What? So we're probably not going to be seeing row 1, column 1, or TLBR. TLBR standing for the top left, bottom right, diagonal.
So yeah, Nale sort of talked about it briefly, but a word we're going to throw around a lot today is synergy. Yes. So when we talk about synergy in bingo, we're talking about a row that has a high density of goals that correlate really nicely. So for instance, if I am looking at, say, column 4, in column 4, we've got both Gerudo Valley heart pieces. We've got 3 shields and 3 boots. Those goals have synergy because 3 shields requires you to get to the mirror shield, which is in past Gerudo Valley. And obviously the Gerudo Valley heart pieces are in Gerudo Valley. So there is at least some synergy present here. Yeah, there's also all 3 elemental arrows, which has light synergy, I would say, with that goal.
I'd say pretty good, because you want ice arrows as well, and which is on the way past, and you're going to Gerudo Valley, because normally how bingo players get light arrows is not by beating Spirit and Shadow Temple, but by using something called RBA, which I'm sure we'll talk about if it comes up, but it can be quite of a mouthful. So we'll see when we have some downtime to talk about it.
It looks like one of our players has picked a row, but we don't know what. Oh no, we've got 2 picks.
We have 2 row picks.
Link has picked column 4, the row we were just looking at, and Lake has picked row 4. So we have 2 different rows, which I love. Because that means we're going to see 2 completely different styles potentially. So I will keep this row up, but again, we have column 4 from one of our players and row 4 from another of our players. And the rows are now displayed on screen, so you can see their row progress. And they have little tracker things, which is nice. So while the players are playing, they will tick off stuff that is as they acquire it, basically.
Yeah. And something to keep a note for column 4 on Link's side is he has a goal with milk. And that is not just get milk once, you have to keep it in your inventory. So that's something that's going to be important to track as well.
Yeah, the bingo requirement for finishing a bingo is that you must have the thing in your inventory when you finish. So you can't get it once and then use it. We already have a differing route between both of our players. Link has gotten the Kokiri sword. Lake has skipped it. Oh, sorry, other way around. I have the screens flipped on my end.
Oh yeah, it's Lake doing row 4, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Lake has gotten the Kokiri sword and Link has skipped it. And Link has opted to just buy a Deku stick and will be escaping the forest early. This is pretty standard bingo fodder. Yeah. This is Aqua Escape, really standard OOT trick.
Yeah, if you're not super familiar with OOT, you might imagine that it's a pretty linear and pretty straightforward quest in how you progress. But if you know even very, very simple and very straightforward speed tech in this game, it becomes an open world playground in what you can do.
Yeah, the reason that bingo is so incredibly good in Ocarina of Time is just due to the fact that the game has so many versatile glitches that allow you to acquire items in really whatever order you want. Which makes Bingo a real test for the mind. Ooh, nice Wes coming out from Lake here, showing off a little RTA prowess here. This is not. Failing the A press though.
I am curious why he's opting to get Ocarina here, because
not playing too many songs, and usually you only get Ocarina if you're planning on playing a lot of music throughout the run. This is an interesting choice.
Usually,
perhaps
you
more
see
comfortable with Ocarina Dive.
It could be, but I also know that he is pretty comfortable with another method of getting bomb juice in bottom of the well. It could have something to do with 4 bottle slots if he is if he wants to get a bonus to fill a milk bottle, but that doesn't.
What is?
It could be Ocarina Dive in a tournament race.
Link is doing the most fascinating.
He just
he was so comfortably there before night, but I guess just wanted to get all the rupees.
And he is also on time of day. So in order for him to get milk, he needs to get the first stage of the child trade quest items, which is going to be a weird egg from Malin here, who's soon going to be moving to not here. And which then needs to hatch, which it does the next morning, in order to wake up Talon at outside the Hyrule Castle, and then he can play catch the 3 cuckoos minigame, and that allows him to get a milk bottle. So he doesn't need really to hurry too much when he's in like the overworld areas, because he needs to burn time a day. And since he's getting milk bottle anyway, he doesn't really need to go to Kakariko anyway to get the bottle from there, because he can do some equip shenanigans here that we can talk about when it happens.
I never even thought about doing equip swap for milk.
Yeah, he can print another bottle essentially without losing his milk, which is very, very important to know if you ever want to do this goal, because otherwise it can be quite a massive time sink for very little benefit.
But yeah, so we've got Lake heading now to Kakariko Village. Sort of standard bingo play in the beginning is, escape the forest and then get explosives. Explosives are, I would say, the most versatile thing besides a sword in this game, and are definitely necessary for doing a vast majority of useful bingo tricks. And so a lot of our, both races we'll see today, both players will prioritize getting explosives in basically one of 2 ways. And we'll cover the other one when Link does it later, probably. But Lake is doing bottom of the well to get bomb shoes, I assume. If he got Ocarina for any other reason, I'm very confused. But yeah. And Link doing a seam walk there. A lot of corners in this game that are at not too steep of angles you can climb if you're standing in the right position. And climb very, very gently. And that just skips Link having to walk all the way around the guards.
And it just turned morning, so the egg has hatched. He has said a previous egg to Talon here, and has unlocked the milk playing minigame in Lon Lon Ranch, so he's going to be heading over there shortly.
And Lake is collecting the cuckoos for a bottle right now. If you've seen any Ocarina of Time speedrunning, you're going to know this is also really standard, but in bingo, a bottle is pretty invaluable. There are rows where you can skip it, for sure, but for the most part, you're going to want a bottle almost every single time.
Yeah, and there are some goals that are literally impossible to do without a bottle. Neither of them have picked it, but it's going to be sort of applicable for all 3 elemental arrows. But you need a bottle if you want to do something called RBA, or a reverse bottle adventure. Don't worry about why it's called that. We don't need to talk about that. All you need to know is that depending on what you have on your C right button, that acts as a pointer to where in the game you can write data, essentially. So if we take milk as an example, like whenever Link gets milk in a bottle, like the item, he has that on C right and performs RBA, he will write to his bomb count, which is going to be very comfortable and very cozy for the rest of the bingo.
Yeah, a really nice thing to be able to change his bomb ammo count whenever he wants.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get into the nitty gritty of RBA.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe Lake is just thinking that Skull Push feels risky at this, on GDQ, doing a tournament race. Yeah, no setup here, it looks like.
Yeah, I think it's Ocarina Dive, and we haven't really talked about Lake's row too much, but he does have a goal which I'm just gonna say you rarely see picked, and that is the open the final door of the forest trial. Because there's two different ways you can do this, really. You can go there as adults with either bow, Din's fire, or fire arrows and light the torches in there, because there's a few torches you need to light up to get past the first room. And you can't pull a Deku Stick as adults, in Bingo at least, because that is something that crashes on N64. So in Bingo we have decided to ban that technique. So either Lake needs to go there as adult with a ton of prerequisites, really. Like bow might not seem like a lot, but getting there with a bow is quite a lot. Or fire arrows is even worse. And Din's is even worse. So it's a lot of time. So most likely, or most commonly, how you see this goal done is as child, having done a wrong warp into Ganon's castle. And I think that is what we're going to be seeing.
So Lake also did the trick we were talking about, Ocarina Dive. First, Lake got a trick called ISG, or Infinite Sword Glitch, which allows him to be infinitely swinging his sword every frame. And this is useful because... going for the Hess here and giving up. This is useful because a side effect of the trick is that if you shield damage in midair, you will stay in midair, is as complicated as I'm going to get with this explanation.
Yeah.
And there's this interesting thing called cutscene diving in Ocarina of Time, where if you are in what we would call like an active cutscene while you are falling, you will fall to the bottom of whatever it is you were on top of. And pulling the ocarina while over that pit causes the scene transition not to happen when you go into the basement. And so you can sort of move around without collision in there, get into this like extraneous column of water, and then float up to the bomb shoes.
Yeah, and
the
thing.
equip swap happening.
Yeah, so Link needs to keep his milk in order for it to count as a goal. So he's trying to equip swap over the chicken. He just got it. So now when he drinks the milk, the game looks at where he equip swapped it to, aka over the chicken. So he has an empty bottle there now. He is now currently swinging his fake chicken bottle. It moved where that bottle was on his C buttons to C down, but the game still registered where he swung it from being C right. So that's where it wrote the bottle. And now he's he's backflip. He's doing essentially what you do with OI or Ocarina items, where you backflip and midair you press the bottle you have in hand, followed by something else. And usually this allows you to play any item as an ocarina. But if you do it with like nuts or something in that case, then you will just drop the bugs in your bottle and write whatever that was to your other button. So Link has now just spawned like 17 or something bottles out of thin air in order to keep his milk and have at least one bottle he can use as adult.
And also both of our players reaching adulthood at the exact same time, which is really fascinating.
I'm surprised that Link didn't do the wrong one for Forest Trial. I am surprised. But
yeah, going for adult Forest Trial here, going to be really, really interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
But yeah, both of our players doing some form of Door of Time skip. Very famous trick in Ocarina of Time speedrunning. But now both players have the entire Master Sword cutscene to sort of plan out their route if they don't already have an idea of what they're going to do. I don't know about you, Nally, but I always use this cutscene to route.
Oh yeah, this is when you open up Notepad and you just start writing things down. Luckily for Link's side, there's not a ton, really. Like, a lot of his goals are very compartmentalized in that way, where you have a map encompassing Fire Temple. That's like, okay, cool. That's very isolated. But you have stuff like, on Lake's side, you have fill all 4 bottle slots. That can seem like you have to go a few different areas in the game in order to actually accomplish that. So you need to then look at your other goals and be like, okay, well, when is it good for me to actually do this? And should I do it all in one go, or should I get 2 bottles there? And then, yeah, it becomes a lot. So actually writing down a route whenever you have downtime, which normally ends up being Master Sword cutscene here, is almost always a great idea.
Yeah. I am very intrigued by row 4.
Yes.
I don't see it. I don't claim to be the best bingo player, but I don't personally see it. Like Deep Fire, Deep Spirit. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's fine, but I don't personally really see that it's too fast. There are things he can do for a lot of these goals that will make them faster than what they might seem. Also worth noting is you look at a goal like 3 shields and 3 boots and you think, oh, that's a lot. But it's probably tied with Fire Temple Boss Key as the fastest goal in his row. Because the only real slow things that you don't always get in every single bingo ever is Iron Boots and Mirror Shield. Because everything else on that 3 shields and 3 boots you usually get anyway, so they're not out of the way. But going to Iron Boots, which is all the way in Ice Cavern, which there's not a lot of other goals he has around there.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a bit of a detour.
It's relatively fast, though. I mean, Iron Boots doesn't take that long.
It doesn't take that long, but it's some extra overall movement that could matter. I mean, I can't see in the future. I have no clue. Maybe Lake is cooking up something.
Yeah, I know. That's sort of what I'm thinking too, is like, all of the bingo gamers armchair criticizing the route in the chat, and us doing it as well right now. But maybe Lake sees something that we all don't see. Okay. Have we considered the idea that this is a 5,000 IQ play?
I believe him. I mean, he's really good at bingo. He knows what he's doing. So I'm sure we're going to be seeing something.
An interesting side effect of Door of Time skip is that the Door of Time obviously is not open, and getting back through the Door of Time as an adult is quite hard, and not really possible at all with their current items. So both players will have to save warp, and conveniently, when you save and reset the console or die after saving, or rather save after dying, as adult, the game takes you to the Temple of Time pedestal, where the Prelude of Light typically takes you. And so, really nicely, you can just not have to skip the Door of Time again.
Yep. That is very
nice.
Because reverse dot skip, as we like to call it, is, without hover boots, I don't think it's possible. So you would be stuck inside there.
Which is so interesting because as child, it's so easy to go back and forth.
Oh yeah, it's very easy.
Because child Link is just small. Like, that's it.
He's just a little tiny boy.
So look at all those bottles.
Yeah, he can equip one of them.
He's got 4 bottles and he can only use 1.
Yes, and that is his nut bottle, which will disappear the next time he picks up nuts, by the way. So he needs to do some shenanigans with this, which isn't gonna be too much of an issue, because normally what Link has is what we colloquially in like the bingo community would call a trade quest row, which there's a lot to unpack in that sentence alone. Let me tell you. But
it's like 3 years worth of baggage in
Yes.
that phrase.
But essentially what that means is that in order for Link to finish one of his goals, in this case it's going to be 3 elemental arrows, he needs to go pretty deep into the adult trade quest item, or the trading quest, which normally, at the end, you might think, oh, well, that gives you the big Goron sword, right? You'd be both correct and wrong, because we don't actually care about a big sword. What we do care about is a saw, and what it can give us. Because that saw can give us a bunch of warp songs, if we RBA with it, and it can also be traded in to a broken sword, which when we RBA that, gives us a lot of the dungeon medallions, which luckily for us is all you need in order to watch the light arrow cutscene, which happens to be one of his goals. So you're going to be seeing a lot of overworld movement where Link is going to just be progressing the trade quest up until he gets to Poacher Saw. He's going to RBA Poacher Saw for some warp songs, and then he's going to later hand in Poacher Saw to the next stage and RBA that, and then going to be watching light arrows, or the light arrow cutscene.
Both of our players, at least starting the trade quest, on Lakeside, we will not see it very deep. Lake will probably only go up to Kajiro. But both of our players following an exceptionally standard early adult route here.
Yes.
For at least the last 3 years, this has been the most meta thing, I would say.
Yeah, it's also just very nice to have a pretty like set in stone start that you do, so that you know like what tools you'll have available for you for the rest of the routing and whatnot. Also worth noting, you said earlier that Lake will be going to Kajiro. You might be wondering why that matters. Well, because if you RBA Kajiro, that gives you a bomb bag. Because thanks, OOT memory allocation.
Oh, Lake forgot to...
Oh, I didn't
So
say
you'll see on Link's side of the screen that Link went into the Ganon's castle area and is immediately leaving. The reason for this is that the entrance cutscene, which only plays the first time you enter this area, sets the time to night. And this is good because we want the egg to hatch as fast as possible, and activating this cutscene, setting it to nighttime is really nice.
It's actually the entire area. It's not just the cutscene.
Oh, I thought it was the cutscene itself that set it to nighttime.
Oh, no,
Am I
the
wrong
area
about
also
that?
sets it to night. You can see that, you might even see it from Link here in this, where he has to get fire arrows, where he will come back later to set it to early night and prepare for fire arrows. So it's definitely just going into the area. The cutscene might also set it, but...
I really thought it was just the first time.
That's interesting because... This way.
It's okay. In Twilight Princess, there's a similar thing where if you enter Palace of Twilight, you can set it to nighttime. But that is the only way. In a game with tons of collectibles that are day-night required, that is the only way you can change the time of day. And it's super awful. Okay, so what has just happened?
Okay.
Link has just... Oh, you can go ahead if you'd like.
I mean, he doesn't have a sword anymore. That might be a big deal.
What's going on here? So Link has done something called Quick Draw Bottle on B, and now Link has upgraded from 4 bottles to 5 bottles in his inventory. So this is sort of the beginnings of the trick that Nale was explaining earlier, called Reverse Bottle Adventure, or RBA. The short version of what is going on is Link interrupted a sword pull when entering the water when he had a bottle out, and then swiping that bottle to catch something like bugs allowed Link to then put a bottle over what was tried to pull out, basically, which was the sword. And so now with a bottle on his B button, the game, I am not going to say gets confused, because that I would be so mad at myself if I said that.
It's pretty accurate, though. But
basically what happened is when you catch something on your B button, this is an unexpected outcome, and it causes the game to put it very simply, the game looks somewhere else than it usually does, and it looks towards the C buttons and various states that the C buttons are in, and it just so happens that whatever you have on your B button and whatever you have on your C right button sort of multiply, basically. They become additive and allow you to manipulate various memory addresses in Link's inventory, and it just so happens that a lot of these are incredibly useful. For instance, when Link caught bugs on his B button with the Pocket Cucko on C right, this gave him a glitched strength upgrade called Black Gauntlets, which has the strength of Gold Gauntlets, which is the highest strength in the game. It gave him the Adult's Wallet, which allows you to hold up to 200 rupees. And when he caught bugs over his B button, when he had Milk on C right, he updated his bomb ammo count. So Link effectively has infinite bombs, which is really nice. This is the other method for getting a bomb bag. If you RBA with Kajiro on C right, you get a bomb bag in your inventory, which is incredibly nice. This is, the first explosive that Link has. He didn't go to bottom of the well. And that's sort of the TLDR on RBA.
That's
anything to add?
No, that was flawless. No, that was absolutely, that was a joy to listen to. If anyone is used to pointers and whatnot from any computer science you might have done, you can view the C right item as a pointer and what's on B as the value you're writing to where that is pointing to, essentially. What that actually translates to in-game, though, that's what me and Adaf are here for.
Yeah, and if anybody, and I said this last year and probably the year before as well, but if anybody is super interested in this trick, which I genuinely recommend you to dive deeper, this is probably the most interesting trick in Ocarina of Time, in my opinion.
It's up there for sure.
There is a great YouTube video by Danny B that in like 30 or 40 minutes explains everything about this trick. And if you have even a tiny amount of computer science or data knowledge, it will make it all the more satisfying. Oh no, the tragic.
Ooh, that is very unfortunate for Link. So both our races here are doing the Dampe race because you are rewarded with a hook shot at the end, which is a very, 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 very important item to have for almost anything you can do in this game. Unfortunately, though, he likes to toss down flames, as you might see. And just there, he tossed down and placed the flame right in the door opening. And so Link walked into it, the door started closing behind him, and the flame tossed him back and got him crushed by the door, which voids him and resets him back all the way at the start.
It's everybody's worst Dampe nightmare, is that he chooses to throw a flame right in the doorway.
Yeah, and that is RNG. There's not really anything you can do about it, except just be mindful that it can happen and try to position yourself in a way where you mitigate the risk, but sometimes...
It's tough. It's like a 45-second time loss.
Yeah, it's pretty rough if it happens. So there's... But Link is very stoic. He can he can live through this. He can prevail. We also see Lake here. There's also should be noted, Link had Milk in his inventory, which allowed him to essentially print 29 bombs earlier and then pick up another 5 in the Dampe grave here. Lake, on the other hand, didn't have that luxury, and he just could pick those 5 up after getting the bomb bag from Kajiro. If that pot wasn't there and didn't have 5 bombs in it, there would be no good way to actually get any bombs. So we say all these nice things, you get a massive bomb bag that can hold 40 bombs. That's really great. You don't even have to go get one. Yeah, but you still have to get actual bombs from somewhere.
Dude, okay, something that we have to talk about, and I think is really important, is that both players have duped a bottle over their bomb slot in order to... So the way that the game tracks if you can get a drop for a certain item is if you have that slot filled. It's a binary value. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, you can't get arrow drops unless there is something, literally anything, on your bow slot. So the players RBA'd with bombs on C right to put a bottle on their bomb slot. And this is great because now they can get bomb drops. The problem, it also checks if you have a bomb bag, but this doesn't matter. This is great, but the problem is if they ever equip over their bombs, those bombs are deleted. There is no way to get the bombs back.
Yeah, they are gone forever.
And so this is tough, but usually this is pretty standard. Our players probably won't screw that up. However, Link's inventory is only bottles. So usually you're like, oh, I'm equipping this, I'm equipping that. Every time Link has paused, he has stuttered for a moment because his inventory is so confusing.
Yeah, it's only bottles. Also, Link has a Deku Stick on his B-button. Don't worry about it. We'll be fine. It just makes RBA easier later because it's a bit involved getting a bottle on B in order to do RBA if you have a sword. But if you ever die with something other than a sword on your B button, the game kind of defaults to a value. I think it's 0 or 1. It's one of the two. And just puts that value on your B button, which happens to be Deku Sticks, which is very, very, very comfortable for us speedrunners and bingo enjoyers. Because with this stick on our B button, it is so comfy to get bottle back on B.
The one problem is that you cannot pull Deku Sticks as adult.
Yes.
And so if you come to adult with more than 0 Deku Sticks, this is not allowed. Because you can't RBA easily unless you have 0 sticks. Because when you press B to swipe over your stick, Link will pull a stick. And again, like Nally said earlier, this crashes on the N64 version, so it is banned in Bingo because it provides Virtual Console players with an unfair advantage. So yeah, you have to have 0 sticks after you leave Child, or else you...
you cannot do that. And you might think like, oh, well, like you can equip sword and do the normal method of doing it. It's like, yeah, that's fine, but it's usually pretty bad because if you get it from dying, you actually lose the Master Sword just from your inventory. Like it's just not there, so you can't re-equip it. So you need to save warp again, which takes you back to Temple of Time, which really, no matter where you are, especially like during Trade Quest, is going to be a massive detour that I don't wish upon my worst enemy.
Wait, these two players played earlier in tournament? Were they in the same group?
They did. They were in the same group.
Who won? Do you know?
I will start this sentence incredibly slowly and make my way to the previous leaderboard to find out, and it was Link 11 because he had 9 points, which means he won all his matches.
So Link won this matchup just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting heading into this race. I wonder if Lake is thinking about that. You know, I lost this last time. What does that mean for my, my potential win here? Because this is the tournament life of both of these players is on the line right now.
Yep.
So, whichever one of them loses is out of the tournament. And the thing that is so interesting about this is that our next match, because we're showcasing 2 matches today, the second match will be the winner of this match in their next losers bracket match.
Yes.
So definitely not out of the woodworks, even if they win this first one.
I mean, such is the life of in the losers bracket. It is, you have to win everything. You have to make the run, as they say. Also see Lake doing some more RBA shenanigans there. He picked up the red potion from the potion shop there, which when you perform RBA with that on C-Write, you write yet another bottle, this time to your the 4th bottle slot, which is it's very important for him because he wants to fill all of those 4 bottle slots.
I have a question that I'm not immediately sure of. Why did Lake RBA Odd Potion?
He could have RB'd Odd Potion because that gives him the Spiritual Stones, which allows him to buy bombs from the Goron City shop. So I imagine it is that. I can't really think of another reason. unless I'm blanking on something.
So
you usually see that if they're not going into Death Mountain Crater immediately after finishing up Trade Quest here. Because normally if you go there, there's a nice 20 pack you can pick up in a grotto, but he is also going to be going there because he wants the Fire Temple boss key. But he might be
both of our players... Oh my god, we are on
inventory.
7 bottles. It's 7 bottles now in Link's inventory. Both of our players just RBA'd Poacher Saw. This is definitely one of the most powerful RBAs in the game.
Yes.
It gets you a ton of songs. You get Nocturne of Shadow, Zelda's Lullaby, Prelude of
Serenade.
Light.
Like you get all the very, very useful warp songs, except for maybe like Requiem. And you also get arguably the most important non-warp song in the game. That is Zelda's Lullaby. So it's very, very, very powerful.
Lake doing a mega side hop ground clip there. I'm not going to explain that.
I mean, essentially it is, do you have enough backward speed and downwards momentum? Cool. You can clip here now. And that goes for almost every corner/ledge in the game. So usually, if you want to clip somewhere, it's not really a matter of, oh, is this wall clippable? It's usually a matter of, oh, how can I get enough speed? Both either just horizontally or vertically as well. Because you can clip almost anywhere in this game. So a mega side op there, which if you want to see a replay of it in action, you can look over on Link here. Because he'll be doing that too. Just setting up a little angle here, pulling the bomb and doing a mega side op, which is you roll into the explosion, hold it left to right, link it left there, and then just mash the A button to get a side op out, and you will recoil backwards at a very high speed.
You know, I should make a setup video because I have a setup for that is like 4 seconds slower, but is impossible to miss. It gives you the right angle and position every time. I'd probably make a video for that.
I have a video or a clip that is 2.5 seconds faster, but it's incredibly dumb and no one should ever do it.
Oh, nice.
We can both do something today.
Yeah, let's both make our clips and upload them. Link
two
is
different
doing,
mindsets.
Yes, two very... I think that sort of explains both of our bingo mindsets too, I would say. I'm slow and steady, and you are... The training wheels are off. The bike is on fire.
It only has one wheel at this point.
So Link just did Bolero cutscene skip. We also saw a Minuet cutscene skip earlier from Lake. But basically, our players, if they die when they enter certain cutscenes, then the cutscene will be marked as played, even though they die and they go to the beginning of the area that they're in. This is really nice because with warp songs specifically, and some other cutscenes that give songs, when the cutscene is marked as played, the game marks the song as acquired. And so our players are able to acquire the song without ever having to watch the cutscene, which is really, really nice. Link also doing a pretty interesting way to enter Shadow early there. You place a bunch of bombs on the seam where the load trigger happens, that the area with the door loads in, and the bombs push you through it fast enough so that it doesn't trigger, and you can enter the Shadow Temple because the loading zone is always there.
Yep. Yeah, like the bombs have a... Like even if you just place one bomb down and try to walk into it, you'll notice that it kind of stops you and pushes you away a little bit. And that property is additive. So if you place 3 of them on top of each other and like side up on top of them, you will get pushed 3 bomb push property things at once. Yeah, something on one frame, and that is enough to completely bypass a little loading trigger there and just walk into Shadow. And you also see Lake doing something very weird there.
Whoa!
Whoa! A weird shot, which I still don't understand really how it works. Essentially, you roll into an explosion or any damage source really, you let go of shield to change how your momentum is going, and pull out hookshot, let go of target on a certain frame, and somehow Link's body is under the ground, and you can hookshot chests from it.
My understanding was that it's not his body that's underground; it's his
Oh yeah, it's only his
aiming is displaced.
Yeah, aiming is displaced. His body is still like you still have your active hitbox at the top, but the camera and the aiming functionality of the hookshot and whatnot gets displaced underground.
So there's a lot of discussion going on in chat right now about Lake's row, and I think Lake getting magic is pretty much confirmation that we're going to see fire arrows.
I assume so.
Because Lake needs a fire source in order to finish the forest trial, and Din's fire is locked behind Child. So in order to create fire, the only other option he has is fire arrows.
Yep. Which it could be fine. Like they're only 40 minutes in. I'm a bit curious to see when he's. Actually, yeah, he's doing that with the bottle slots too, because I'm assuming he's getting NL or Neighbor's Love then, which if you RBA that goes over the second bottle slot, which will fill out his 4 bottle slots.
So I actually don't hate the magic synergy now that I have realized that. There's some
me neither.
decent magic synergy, actually. Oh, wait, yeah.
Oh, he does? Actually, that's kind of funny, though. That's something to point out.
Yeah, this is a great point from T2 in the chat. So RBAing certain items allows you to change your inventory as it pertains to dungeons. And really nicely, the elemental arrows themselves point towards the water temple for ice arrows, the fire temple for fire arrows, and I believe the spirit temple for light arrows.
Yep.
And so when you have these items, if you RBA with, say, a bug, and you have ice arrows on C right, that gives you the map and the boss key in Water Temple. So I'm really fascinated by the fact that, and Lake probably just didn't realize, which is fair, because it's really rare that you RBA fire arrows.
Yeah.
But Lake could have skipped getting the Fire Temple boss key by just RBAing fire arrows later.
That does make me more inclined to think that it's back in time in Din's, especially since he's currently in the Forest Temple setting up a boss key skip to fight Phantom Ganon.
Yeah, okay, so we are going back in time.
Yeah. You might also be confused if you're more familiar with randomizer for OOT. Normally, going back in time isn't locked behind beating Forest Temple, but in the vanilla game, you do need to beat Forest Temple. And not just defeat Phantom Ganon, you need to clear the dungeon flag and set it as completely beaten. So Lake now has to watch this cutscene, fight a boss, watch another cutscene, and hopefully skip the third cutscene. Hopefully. Can be pretty scary. Link. I looked away for a second. What happened to Link? Did he fall down?
He was going for the bomb boost down to...
Oh, the Valley HPs. Right.
Yeah. Oh, right. I didn't even see that goal. Yeah. I should also upload my clip for this. I have a setup for this, too. Oh my god, I'm terrified for Lake right now.
This is... I will say I am not, because this is... Lake has done a lot of all dungeons, and this is right in this comfort zone. Fighting Phantom Ganon while damaging down on Phantom Ganon with half heart. This is his comfort zone. I can assure you.
I just hate the overhead lightning attack. Is so scary to me.
It's very useful. It damages you 2 hearts. It's very fast.
1 cycle? Nice.
Yeah, this Phantom Ganon, when you shoot a hook shot or any projectile really, will spin his staff. And during that little staff spinning animation, he's vulnerable. And since Lake got ISG earlier, if you remember from earlier, that allows his infinitely swinging sword to just immediately hit Phantom Ganon once he spins the staff. And this will essentially stun lock him on the ground, allowing for a very quick 1 cycle. Alright, let's go again here for Link. hopefully second time
Okay,
around.
I absolutely need to upload my strat because it does not require entering this tent.
I assume he does want to enter the tent to at least set the respawn point up here.
Oh, yeah. Okay, never mind.
That
That's
was
smart.
weird. Yeah, 'cause normally what you see people do is get this heart piece here. Oh, he almost died from that fall.
Yeah, truly.
And then you mega flip back to the other side and get the one behind the waterfall. And then once you've done that, you can clip out of bounds using the ladder. And voiding there will send you back up to the tent where you've set your area respawn. Oh, is that gonna...
Oh my god.
Oh my...
Just always mega side hop there, in my opinion.
Meanwhile, Lake looks like... That looks like the correct frame. I think he's gone the cutscene skip here. Yeah, there we go. So that is very good. Very good. Because
that is one of
the
longest cutscenes in the game.
Yes, it is second only to, I think, Kokiri Emerald and Light Arrow cutscene. And those are some long cutscenes. And here's
Lake basically died on a certain frame as the cutscene was starting, same as the other skips that we've been talking about. It's just a little more involved with a blue warp because the cutscene doesn't start exactly when you might think it does. The blue warp has to activate for a while, and it also has to be looked at and nearby.
You can't ever call it. You need to have it be active, and it needs to try to take you away on the same frame that the game registers you as. Oh, you should go to the game over screen. That needs to all perfectly line up. Luckily, we have setups, so it's not too bad, but it's still very, very failable. And if it does go wrong due to just a slight misinput anywhere or something, then it can be pretty bad.
Why did Lake do Prelude cutscene skip and then leave?
I think he just wants to stock up on bombs, maybe? I don't think... It doesn't matter too much,
he's
really.
He's not gonna have bombs after he goes wild.
I think he... It doesn't really matter too much when you do it. It adds up to... It does... it becomes an extra prelude at some point. This is when he wants to go back.
Right, that's my question is
Yeah.
And now he's getting irons?
I'm a bit... Oh, he wants
to come back with bottle on B. Oh, is he BAing hammer?
Oh. I think he's BAing hammer then. That would be the only explanation, I think.
How... I have questions, but that's okay. We'll see what happens.
Normally, why you would do something like that is if you want to do quote-unquote legit BA, you need to go back in time with a bottle on your B button in order to write on it something. The crux is you can't get bottle on your B button past the door of time if you've skipped it. So you normally need to either just completely open the door of time and come back later with bottle on B. And it can be quite annoying to do Prelude Cutscene Skip with the door opened, as counterintuitive as that might seem, but the door being there actually makes clipping out of bounds a lot easier. So it could just be doing Prelude Cutscene Skip now in order to set up for that.
This row has so much going on.
It's not a row you see very often, I will admit. On the other hand, Link is doing something I'm very comfortable with. He's just making his way.
Link's row feels incredibly standard. Except for maybe Milk. That's the one wrench.
Yeah, it's kind of why I like the current bingo version a lot, because you have these quote-unquote, very standard rows normally where it's just, you do trade goods for a bit and go to, a dungeon and do a thing. But now you have these goals, or these rows, featuring some wacky, crazy stuff. This time it's milk in 17 bottles. It's like, oh god, okay.
It's always tough to judge who is quote unquote in the lead in bingo, but especially when the players are playing different rows. But I would say it feels like Link is ahead right now.
Yes, I think. That is
the fact
mostly,
that Lake has to go back in time still feels like
he's set up
indicative.
most of it though. He's beaten Forest. He's done Prelude cutscene skip. He's just about to get Irons, so he's probably gonna save Mirror Shield until
Adult 2.
Yeah, I assume so. So
yeah, I guess you get Neighbor's Love and Mirror Shield in Adult 2.
Yeah, so after this, it's gonna be Forest Trial as well. Oh, this is also the weird part, because normally you don't see a very extended Adult 2, right? If anything, like, you rarely see an Adult 2 at all in bingo. And when you do, it's usually a very short one for something like Rusty Switches. But with Rusty Switches in Spirit Temple, which need the hammer, which is what he's going to BA, combined with the Mirror Shield and also the Forest Trial, which he wants Dins for, and also 4 Bottle Sludge, which he wants NL for, which is over in the Spirit Temple. 4 of these goals are going to be finished in Adult 2, which is very, very rare.
Link is really struggling with Wasteland right now. Looking like me, to be honest.
Did he do a setup?
No.
Well, there's the problem.
He did, he failed the Hest twice, and is now opting to just walk. It's because he didn't F the sign, dude.
I will say people have gotten better at it. Ever since you collectively called out everyone, I feel like I've noticed it every restream I've done. So I don't know what
I'm gonna give a little bit of Ocarina of Time bingo history here.
Yeah.
Bingo has been around for some time, and as one of the resident olds in the community, I've been around for a long time. And back in the day, it was standard in bingo to
Back in my day.
Truly back in my day. It was standard that every time you skip the Gerudo Gate to get to Wasteland, there's this sign there. And I don't remember exactly why it started. I know somebody started doing it. I can't remember when or why. But it was standard to break the sign and say, F that sign. That was standard for years. In recent years, we have forgotten our history and people have stopped doing this. And I think that's the reason why people are failing Wasteland, because they're just not breaking the sign anymore. So this is my public outcry that you have to F that sign.
I didn't notice OT boomers was a thing, and I didn't realize you were one of them, but I respect your message, and I agree. Which makes me feel kind of silly.
Link is doing Spirit Hover, which is like Bingo 101. This is probably the first really hard trick that everybody needs to learn for Bingo. Once you get it down, though, it's really not that bad, but even the best of the best fail it sometimes.
Yep.
But this is just a way to get Mirror Shield incredibly quickly. It's very explosive heavy. Oh my god! What was that angle? Why did he turn so far to the left?
Oh, he almost saved it. He almost saved it. Luckily for him, the trick takes 9 to 10 bomb shoes to do, and he has 25, so it's not the worst thing in the world to retry once it happens. So it's not too big a deal. And on the other side, we see Lake. You might have been curious what he did in the Sacred Forest meta there earlier, where he just used a bunch of his bomb shoes. What he really cares about is having the value 17 as his bomb shoe account. Because if you remember earlier, when we talked about RBAing a PO, using the PO as a pointer to write to... well, we didn't explain that part, but the PO points to your bomb shoe account, essentially. So if you RBA, so like catch or drop something on your B button with PO on C right, you will write that whatever you catch as data to your PO count. That's also why both our racers have had so many bomb shoes, despite only picking up the 5 bomb shoe chests in GTG. So what Lake is doing now is using sort of the inverse of that, where He has Poe equipped on Child C, right? As you see there. Also, he has 17 bomb juice, which is actually gonna come back to bite him in a bit. We can talk about that later because he's gonna have to use a bomb chew here. But 17 is the item value for the Megaton Hammer. So when he goes back adult, he's gonna be looking, or the game's gonna be looking like, okay, what's on C, right? It's Poe. That points to bomb chews. Bomb chew says 17. 17 is hammer. Boom.
Link is really struggling with this hover slide. There is a somewhat of a safe strat where you enter this loading zone and leave so that if you fail, you can die and quickly get back up here. But now, with no bombs, Link is having to try Hessing, one bomb super slides. Probably going to try to get some bomb drops here.
Yeah, now the only way back up is to, unfortunately, game over here. But fortunately, that gives him a chance to get some bombs here. Because both luckily and unluckily, these levers can be very aggressive.
Could always chew, quick draw, bottle on B, and RBA that milk, baby.
He could. He could. Chew Hessing isn't too big a deal if you do it like completely standstill though, so it should be okay. Oh yeah, Lake also realizing that. Yeah, the bomb chew count. So he needed to RBA it again. But there you also get another example of, whoa, he caught bugs on his B button. The bugs value is the item value 29. Crazy. So he wrote 29, and now he's gonna slowly make his way down to 17 again. Hopefully using 1 to blow that up, yeah. And then dropping 2 more. Oh, into that. Oh, he almost just... Alright, let's go. There we go. He's in. Yeah, so this is Din's Fire for Lake, which is going to be necessary for opening the final door of Forest Trial. He has so many bottles. Link has so many bottles. Yeah, so now going to be making his way over to Fire Temple first. With the map and compass. I was assuming Serenade here. I'm gonna be honest, but... yeah, now with Din's Fire gotten for Lake, I assume he's just gonna be going straight back adult, and then... yeah, with Hammer.
You know, I've been muted for the last, like, 4 minutes, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or something.
I figured you were up to something.
Nope, I just forgot.
Oh, that's less fortunate.
You know what's really wild about it, too, is that I said something once and you responded, and I thought, oh, we're having a conversation.
That's not even the first time that's happened this week.
Really?
Yeah, there might be something wrong with me.
So yeah, Lake is fully set up here for Bottle Adventure.
Yep.
Not reverse this time, but Bottle Adventure. And he's got a hammer on his B button.
Look at that green button having something that it's definitely supposed to have on it.
This is the trick that was discovered first.
Yes.
Hence why it is Bottle Adventure and the other one is Reverse Bottle Adventure. This trick is also super useful. It's just not very commonly used because the setup is so vast. But basically all of these things together means that Lake does not have to get legit hammer to do the goal, which is both Rusty Switches and Spirit, which require hammer.
Yep. Yeah, because the Rusty Switches, you're supposed to use the Megaton Hammer to smack them down. And so he's going over to Spirit now, which is, he's going to be finishing up 4 goals in very quick succession here. Because he's going to be picking up Nur's Love outside, which he's going to RBA for his second bottle slot, which is actually his last bottle slot. He's going to be picking up Mirror Shield, which is going to be his last item requirement. for the 3 shields and 3 boots goal. And he's going to be picking up, he's going to be crushing down the rusty switches in Spirit Temple. And then it's off to Ganon's castle after that to finish up Bingo.
It kind of weirdly feels like Lake is ahead now.
Yeah, Link still has to go get Iron Boots after he's done in Fire Temple. And also get Fire Arrows.
And watch Light Arrow cutscene.
Yeah, it's a bit.
I think part of the reason this feels more desperate now is just because Link failed so much on the way to Mirror Shield.
Yeah, I think if that section had gone smoothly, like Wasteland is a time sink. Like if you fail the Hess, like voiding middle through, and then just say, "Oh, I'm just gonna walk," that's compared to just nailing the Hess first try, which I know Link is capable of doing. It's pretty different.
Oh, Lake realizing he can't go for the standard setup to get into GGG because
he has hammers.
He has hammers, so he has to do the ledge clip. Somebody should find a hammer setup for this.
I think there probably is, knowing OOT, but good luck finding it.
StratDB, baby.
There's
no way that somebody has put up a StratDB page for this.
Yeah, I don't think so. Ledge clip, probably. Yeah, this is a nice little strat here.
Yeah, this one is easy.
He wants bomb shoes for Spirit Hover, or the interior Spirit Hover, which the interior Spirit Hover. What we mean when we say that is almost. You can do a pretty big hover inside of Spirit Temple to reach the rusty switches quite a bit faster. Oh, he has choose? Oh, wait, he has choose.
Yeah, from bottom of the well. Wait, why is he going into...
Oh, and he also B8 with choose. I am out of it today.
Is it to shoot arrows? So maybe he wants to use Din's Fire for the first couple torches and then just shoot the torches up top in Forest Trial, the first room, so he doesn't have to hover.
Did he realize?
I don't know what's happening right now. Both runners, GDQ is a stressful place to be.
It's also, like, I will say, bingo be stressful.
Bingo be stressful.
This is very stressful, especially if you know, like, oh, if I lose this race, I'm out of the tournament.
Yeah, the tournament races specifically are really stressful. Yeah, bingo is no laughing matter a lot of the times. Ooh. Also, using hammer for that is kind of sick.
He recoiled so much. Oh, and here we see...
Bro, he's skipping the sign.
Come on, Lake. Come on.
You can break it with a bomb.
Aww.
So sad. I mean, I understand it loses more time because you don't have a sword. I get it. I understand. Yeah, Link is about to die?
No, okay. This only does half hour. Now he's dead, though. Yeah. That's
Things are looking a little dire for our many-bottled friend.
It's... Luckily, it's not the worst thing. It's close to the worst thing, but it's not the worst thing.
The worst thing would be a VC crash.
Yeah. I actually don't... I have, like, no judgment of how fast or slow Forest Trial is from this point, because you so rarely see it, right?
It's so fast. I feel like getting into Ganon's castle is the slowest part.
Yeah. Luckily, he got the shortcut here earlier, so we can just kind of hop through.
I guess Ocarina has kind of paid off for Lake as well.
He's played a lot of songs.
Yeah.
I think he decided he wanted to do Back in Time, early on, and usually
Which
if you
is
do back in time,
nuts.
yeah, that's an insane call to do. But if you do that, then Ocarina usually ends up being good because you have to play Song of Time if you want to beat A, which it seemed like he decided he wanted to do. And that also means a lot of warp songs. Like it's at least one prelude to get back there, right? And then it's, he's played Serenade 3 times, I think. Nocturne a couple times. He's played some songs. Yeah, he's played a lot of songs. Also, just Zelda's Lullaby for Magic and now for Mirror's Love.
Yeah.
All right, Link has made it past the one fire maze room into the second. Luckily, the compass is very close by. It's just past this wall. There we go.
I do wonder if maybe Link is a little stressed now after all these mistakes, maybe a little upset with his play, which is a trap that a lot of us fall into in bingo. Like once something bad happens, your mentality lowers, and then it's just like this recursive sequence where this negative feedback loop, I should say. So I hope Link can gain composure here. Maybe he's doing just fine. I don't know. And try to clutch it out here. See if we can make a race happen.
I still think it's pretty close. I don't know how... Because Link, since he got strength as well with the Black Olives, it's not going to be an interior hover, I assume. And he's just going to use most of Spawn Juice here for Spirit Hover. So he's going to be going the interior Spirit, which is a bit slower, but it's a lot safer. So I don't actually know. I think Lake might be a little bit ahead, but I don't think it's too much. Because Link doesn't have that much left.
That roll with shielding to get rid of ISG that Lake just did is so ballsy. Also not entering the loading zone.
He's very confident.
Looking for any time save here, because at this stage in the game, this is where we've eclipsed the 1 hour 5 mark. You have to assume that players of this caliber are nearing the end.
Yep.
And so you really have to start making any time save where you can. And yeah, we're just gonna see. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is closer than I think. Because Rusty Switches is gonna take a second.
Yeah, Lake already has Neru's. He hasn't RBA'd it yet. So he needs to RBA Neru's Love to get his bottle, which isn't super slow, but it's not like instant either.
Oh, you know why? You know why Lake didn't even bother with the loading zone? Because if he dies with hammer on B, he's screwed anyway.
Oh, he is. Oh, yeah, we should talk about that. What are the downsides of using Bottle Adventure?
There's no point in doing a backup.
Yeah. Yeah, if you ever save warp or die with something other than a sword on B, it's gone. You don't have that hammer anymore. Which is why you might think like, oh, you can just print whatever item you want on B button. Like, that's great. That sounds super useful. Yes, but massive asterisk. If you ever mess up or need to safety save for any reason, yeah, you can't do that anymore.
When I was playing Hundo earlier this year and was doing the route where you have Ferora's Wind on B for like hours.
Oh, yeah?
What was that? I'm always just mortified because like you have that on your B button and you need it for so long.
Oh, yeah.
That recoil was hilarious.
Yep. He wanted to jump slash, so he got a bit closer to the door during the cutscene where you normally can't move, but his ankle was like too much facing the door, so he just recoiled off it and avoided it. It was very nice. Alright, but that's the first Rusty Switch. And Link is almost done with Ice Cavern. Just needs to do some parkour here.
The glitchless strats, you love to see it.
Oh, you don't love the bonk though, but hey, we take Ice Cavern, take it, Ice Cavern, give it away.
That's true. Oh.
Oof, almost.
So something that is a little scary is Iron Boots requires pretty much in Bingo to, oh my god, to go any sort of fast at all, you are going to need to do the Serenade cutscene skip to skip the massive cutscene. Oh my god.
Oh, Link! No! Okay. Come on, my boy. There we go.
And freezing enemies do damage in increments smaller than 1/4 of a heart. So oftentimes you will have what is called glitched health, which is a really scary thing where you're not sure if you actually have half a heart or if you actually have 1/2 and 1/8.
This did damage down there. To be, you can, depending on what your health display is at, you can tell if you have a health amount where it'll matter if you're damaged in that way. Because it kind of lies. It says that it's, oh, you have 4 pieces of a heart. No, you actually have 16. But if you have between 8 and I think 12, it displays the same. But that can not be ideal, because if you have like 11 health, then it'll take 2 bomb hits to kill you, or 3 bomb hits to kill you, while it may look like it'll only be 2 hits. So that can mess you up.
I'm curious what setup Lake is going to go for here. If he's just going to hover, like contortion hover, or...
Where is he?
What is happening? What is he doing right now? Oh, is he...
Is he getting up this way? Oh, you can do that? Okay.
I guess he just fell down. Yeah, he's contortion hovering. Does he have the bomb shoes for this?
He must have RBA'd.
He must have RBA'd during...
Oh, it's angled hovers. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
He could have RBA'd the Poe during the Neighbors Love RBA, but...
This is fine. Worst case scenario, he'll have to do 1 or 2 bomb hovers, but he'll be okay.
Wait, this is so fast?
Yeah, angled hovers when 1 paused, or even... They're very feasible to do unbuffered too, and if you do it unbuffered, it's very fast. And even if you just 1 pause it, it's very fast.
I do not know this trick.
Well, now you know.
I guess so. I think this is Lake's game.
Yeah, this is Lake's game. He's essentially done. He needs to walk into Forest Trial, press Din's Fire, and then hopefully not have a meltdown in the second room, which is possible, because it's not a very nice room. It's a bunch of fans blowing everywhere. So we'll see. Oh, he's gonna cast Din's up there? Oh, I love that. If the wolf
Dude, kill the Wolfos. Just kill the Wolfos.
He's an animal friend. Save the animals.
Oh boy.
All right. Oh, well, there you go. He did it. Just a little bit after you wanted him to do it.
Sure. Yeah, this next room is awful. I don't know if Lake has any MST experience, but...
I think Lake has run every single OT category. So I don't know how much MST he ran, but he has definitely done it. I don't know how fresh it is in his memory though, but it's looking good.
Yeah, so far it looks like he's got an idea of a route for this, for sure.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, easy.
And that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Yep, that is time for Lake. Lake finishing with a high 113, low 114. Yeah, 113.39. Sick.
I am honestly very surprised that this row...
Me too. We were so critical of this row for this entire thing. So we know who Ama's opponent will be.
Yeah.
So we're gonna let Link finish out here.
Link's almost done.
Not too much left to do. We've got a cool trick here. This is a hook shot jump. Though
he's very high up.
One. This is a really, really interesting trick where you interrupt picking up a Skulltula token, and then you interrupt the hookshot activation with you cull, basically. You put the Skulltula on screen, and also he cannot fail this. This is his only bomb.
Yep.
Basically, you put the Skulltula on screen in the middle of hookshotting, and it causes you to go up very high. That's it.
It's essentially like you interrupt the hookshot wanting to drag you somewhere. Because for one frame, as soon as the hookshot connects with something, for some inexplicable Ocarina of Time reason, it gives you a ton of vertical speed. So if you manage to interrupt that with something, you can actually break free and utilize that speed.
So Link just RBA'd the broken Goron sword on C right, and this is very useful. And you'll notice that he just marked his final goal, even though technically he doesn't have the light arrows yet. When the light arrows are above his head, that will be time for him. But RBAing the broken Goron sword gives among other things, the Shadow and Spirit medallions. And the way the game checks progress for this particular thing, whether or not this cutscene is here to give you the light arrows and then spawn the rainbow bridge and all that good stuff to go to the end of the game, is the game just checks if you've completed the Shadow and Spirit temples, but it doesn't do this via checking if you've stepped in that blue warp. It checks your inventory to see if those two medallions are present and nothing else. So this was actually the fastest way to beat the game for a long time. Before wrong warping was discovered, this was the fastest method to beat Ocarina of Time, was to just get Shadow and Spirit medallions and then go to the end of the game. And then when RBA was discovered, it was faster to RBA them. And now, obviously, the game is broken wide open. But yeah, so you RBA those two medallions, and then this cutscene is here, and we just got to watch a little bit of text, and then Link will be finished. Very close race, ultimately.
Yeah. It was... honestly, it was pretty hard to call it there. And if Link had a few less mistakes, there would have been very, very, very close. So
yeah, and honestly, it's really exciting to see two completely different row picks.
Yeah, they had one goal in common, which even that they're gonna go to roughly the same spots, but they did it completely differently in very different times. So even a very... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, that's the beauty of bingo, baby. And we have another race coming up in just a moment, so definitely stick around. But I would encourage anybody who is interested at all in bingo to look into it, because it is incredibly fun. I have been bingoing now for almost 11 years, and it is still my favorite race variant of any game I've ever played. Bingo is constantly evolving. The community is constantly tweaking things. And the community is very active, especially around tournament season, which is usually in the summer every year. So I recommend joining the Ocarina of Time speedrunning Discord if you're interested at all in this. And you can sort of branch off from there into other Discords and stuff like that. But I really recommend, joining the Ocarina of Time speedrunning Discord and getting into bingo, because there is no time like the present, and bingo slaps.
Yeah, it is also, honestly, I think one of the best ways to get into Ocarina of Time, if you ever wanted to. Because as terrifying and daunting as some of these goals might look like, they're doable with the very, very bare necessities of glitches and tricks that you might need to know. And it's also something that you can just say I just want to try a bingo and see what happens. You get a board and you can see which rows can I actually do? And you can just do that and have a nice little afternoon.
There are plenty of rows that require no glitches.
Yeah, plenty.
There are some rows that do require glitches, but there are some that don't.
Green gauntlets, for example.
And so, there are plenty of rows you could do without any Ocarina of Time speedrunning knowledge to just get your foot in the water. Or dip your toes in the water. I don't know. No, I'm mixing a few metaphors here. And that is time for Link. We have got a 1:13:39 from Lake and a 1:19:08 from Link, both sub 120. Very good performances for a tournament race. GG's to both players. We are going to take a very brief break. So everybody stick around. We're just going to go to a brief break, get up, stretch our legs, stuff like that. And then we're going to come back and showcase the second race, which will be Lake, the winner of this race, versus his next opponent, which is Amaterasu, a French bingo player who has been waiting in the wings for his opportunity to play the winner of this match. So stick around. We'll have more Ocarina of Time bingo, more GDQ hotfix, and more sauce right after this.
I love sauce.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Games Done Quick hotfix. This is a bingo tournament special. We are showing off the best of the best in the Ocarina of Time bingo tournament. My name is Adef. Some quick announcements before we get back into things here. GDQX is returning live from TwitchCon in Las Vegas, October 20th to the 22nd. The event will take place on the Games Done Quick stage, as well as stream live on our Twitch channel. Use exclamation GDQX in Twitch chat to find out more info and check out the schedule. If you're going to be at the event at TwitchCon, feel free to come join us. Take a seat, watch some speedruns, and also Games Done Quick is hiring. If you are a business developer or have experience in recruiting sponsorships and would like to work for GDQ, apply at gamesdonequick.com/jobs. But gamers, we are now back for our second match. In the previous match, we had literally Lake versus Link 11, and Lake pulled out the W, which means Lake is advancing to the further round in the losers bracket where Amaterasu is waiting. So the two of them are now going to play. I am joined on comms by Nale Sounds. Nale, how you feeling?
Hello, I'm doing great. Just got a fresh glass of water. Excited to watch some bingo yet again. That's what
Fantastic.
I love doing.
Well, we will explain bingo and what's going on yet again, but I think we can tell the players to go ahead and get ready. And while we do that, I'm going to sort of explain briefly for everybody again that the premise of this is that bingo is 5x5 card of randomly generated goals, and our players' objective is to just complete a row, column, or diagonal faster than their opponent to get bingo. But yeah, Amma and Lake, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and ready up. And
I'll start the race
started.
Then we should be good to go.
All right, our players are ready, so the countdown from 15 will start, and we'll get ahead and get going here. The race is starting in 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right.
Okay, let's see this board, shall we? What do we got?
Yeah, let me pull up the board here. And the board will be displayed on screen in the bottom middle. And we are looking at... So again, players, or gamers at home rather, we've got a 5x5 card of randomly generated goals from a huge list of goals that the community has selected. And our players are going to try to look through the goals to find goals that suit not only their play style, but also that look fast. And to pick something from that. So, Nally, looking at the board, what do you see right away?
I will say I always gravitate towards a lovely little goal called fill 20 inventory slots. I love that goal. I think it's super fun and one of the coolest goals we have in terms of routing possibilities, especially in the BLTR diagonal where it's combined with a boomerang just as a goal. That can be pretty cool. Also,
boomerang definitely
and 30 skulls. It's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, true. I love 30 skulls. 30 skulls is one of my favorite goals for the same reason. Mm-hmm. It creates a lot of really interesting routing potential. And you got to really consider which skulls you get because some of them are really slow.
Yep.
But yeah, a lot of interesting rows here. I personally, my methodology, I don't know that I do this so much now, but I like to look for Zelda's Lullaby synergy. That was pretty heavy in earlier versions of bingo.
It's still good. Still very good. Because whenever you have like any sort of, like getting Zelda's Lullaby is usually, that's like one of the big deciding points of your route. Like, do I need this? Yes or no? So if you ever need it, you want to be able to do more than one thing with it, really. So you don't really want to pick a row with like only one CL check, right?
There's like not a lot of ZL on this board.
No, not really.
Shadow Temple boss keys, Shadow Temple keys, that's really it.
Mm-hmm. I think you do have... Yeah, I don't know. And they're not like on the same row even. so you can't really combine them. I do think column 1 is what I would pick. Personally, I think column 1 looks pretty fast. Because 30 skulls...
Bottled Fairy is a fast goal.
Yeah, like Bottled Fairy is very quick. You just pick it up and you just keep it with you. You don't have to worry too much about it. Map encompassing Water Temple isn't too out of the way either. You usually are going to go somewhere near Water Temple. You can RBA
and
the map.
Morpha as well.
Yeah, since with 4 different heart containers, like you have to defeat 4 bosses. Any reason you're in a dungeon that isn't the like the normal 2 or 3 dungeons, which is like Shadow and DC and Water usually. You normally do Shadow and any sort of defeat boss route that you have to do because it's just very quick and easy. At least if you allow glitches. And then
we've got a row pick from Amma, but not from Lake yet, it looks like.
Ooh, yeah, almost looking at row 2.
Yeah. Oh, and we have our row picks from both players.
Just as you said that.
Yeah, row 2 from Amma and row 5 from Lake. Row 2 and row 5. Again, I don't see row 5, but Lake sees things that I don't see, so...
I like row 5. I think 9 hearts especially is a goal that I think people look at and it's like, ooh, that's a lot. Like, that's gonna take me a lot of time. But you can, especially if you're going over to Mirror Shield, there's a lot of heart pieces on the way that you can do. And you have beat the Forest Temple, so that's a heart container you can get for free from Phantom Ganon. So you have a heart container, and you can get a lot of heart pieces, just in the older world. So I think row 5 is pretty good.
Okay. I do like, beat Forest Temple, obviously a free heart. You're going into Forest Temple, that's a lot of skulls. You're going into Spirit. You're going into Bottom of the Well. Like, there is a lot of quick stuff going on. And then on Amma's side, row 2, 6 gold rupee chests is a pretty fast goal as far as, like, there's rupee chests on the way in a lot of places. Boomerang, definitely the most out of the way goal, but with the advent of Jabu as adult becoming so easy, it's really not that bad these days.
Yeah, I think the big hurdle or the big time sink in that row is ironically going to be the Fire Temple Gold Rupee, because even if you have something like a Fire Temple boss key, like in Amma's case, where you're going to be in Fire Temple picking up something, the Gold Rupee is at the literal tip top of the dungeon, and you have to do a pretty big, like 12 bomb 2 hover to get to it. So it is a trek to get there. It's like, I think 6 or 7 minutes from the entrance. It's not that fast, but that's the only thing really. It's that and Boomerang, and everything else is very smoothly working together.
I like row 2 a lot, actually.
Yeah, the more I think about it, combined with it is nice. I like Silver Gauntlets in that a lot, actually. And Small Keys in Shadow is I also just love deep Shadow goals. I love Shadow Temple. It's a great dungeon to just play through.
Obviously, it is a little whack that, you're only doing trade quests for the Keys in Shadow. But even then, like, I don't know, with gold rupees, trade quest isn't too bad. There's good fire synergy. I mean, like you said, the Fire Temple gold rupee is still pretty out of the way, but
it's still there. Like you're still in there. And you're going to have to go to that gold rupee if you have a fire synergy goal or not, right? So you might as well take a fire synergy goal.
Right. There's a question in chat. Can players in this challenge choose the same row? The answer is yes.
Yeah, they absolutely can. It's also pretty common because usually, like, the people have a pretty decent understanding of, like, what the quote-unquote fastest rows are, or at least, like, what the most comfortable row to execute fast are, like, it's not that big of a variance. So people will generally agree on what rows like look fast and which rows look too awkward to make work and whatnot. But there's obviously going to be a difference in preference, and sometimes you might not even notice a row is on the board because you essentially only have the intro, like, which is 3 minutes to look over and parse this entire board and decide, like, okay, what am I going to do? Because if you don't decide early enough, then you might do some unnecessary things that you don't need for your row, and that's just going to be a waste of time in the end, right? So there's picking a row. If you give the same 2 players every board and sit them down for like 20 minutes, they're probably going to agree on what row is the fastest in the end. But they don't get 20 minutes for free. They get 3-ish.
Yeah, and I think it is interesting that, not rare per se, but definitely interesting that we are seeing 2 different rows, 2 races in a row.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is due to the players that we have on stream today. Ama, in the grand scheme of things, relatively new to Bingo, but an incredibly competent OOT player, so has been dominating really quickly. And so might not have, an unbelievable amount of experience picking rows, so might see something we don't see in a different way. And Lake, I think, I might be wrong about this, but Lake seems to me like a player who picks non-meta rows often, or picks rows that seem really interesting.
Yeah. I would agree. The entire spiel I just went upon, like if you put 2 Bingo players in the room for 20 minutes and have them discuss a row, I think the one person that would not do that with like me is probably Lake. I think we just disagree on what's fast a lot of the time. And usually Lake is faster, so he's
Navi might be a little...
Nah, he's good.
Oh, going for the back. How have I never thought of doing that as a backup? That's so smart.
You didn't? Well, you know.
I always climb all the way back up and jump across.
Did you jump across? Yeah, you don't need to do that.
So Skull Push from Ama, that is in the grand scheme of OOT things, relatively new development.
Yep.
Looks like we're going to see it from Link as well, which he neglected to do in the last race, which is interesting. But this is a pretty difficult but very new way to get the bottom of the well bomb shoes early.
Yeah, it's pretty involved. It involves using displacement from the Skulltula here as it dies, because its hitbox of the body that it leaves when it bounces on the floor is quite different than the one it has right now. And it allows for, if you have a very specific position and an angle, and you kill it and have it land in a very specific spot, then it can push you through the sloper. So it took a while to get found. But it's looking like, yeah, there we go. Very clean from both Lake and Alma there. It was an interesting setup, though. It's not, that was a... I haven't seen that setup in a while from Lake.
And then Alma on the other side did a vine clip, which involves taking damage on a certain frame that you grab a vine or something like a vine, like this. A climbable wall, basically. No setup here from Lake, just going for it. You love to see it. But that vine clip allows you to get to the dead hand room without Zelda's Lullaby very quickly, which is really nice.
Yeah, and Alma needed to go there for the gold rupee. Lake needs to go here for Lens of Truth. So he actually needs to fight that hand, which, unfortunately for Lake, as Child Link, is kind of awful. This fight is not great as Child. It takes a while.
I am kind of intrigued by the fact that, and maybe Lake was just sort of autopiloting to do Ocarina Dive, but getting the shield in Kokiri Forest and then choosing to do Skull Push anyway is really interesting to me, because
I think that's almost for sure for Dead Hand. Like, maybe not the shield, but if you're getting sword, especially with his Defeat Ganon background, he can get shield very quickly from there. He's one of the best of the game to do it, so I don't blame him for going for comfort. And it does also make the Dead Hand fight a lot smoother. I don't know. Have you ever tried to fight that hand with a broken stick and 0 sticks 8F?
Well, he has swords, so, just jump slash a bunch 5 ahead.
Yeah. But if you're getting sword, you might as well get shield, right?
I guess so.
Sunk cost prophecy or something. That's what it's called, right?
Sunk cost fallacy.
No, I don't believe you.
Okay.
But no, the sword is almost surely for just making the dead hand fight bearable. And shield, you might as well. And it also allows for some hessing. And can also be
I was just saying that,
for skulls.
If you jump slash dead hand and then you can just do the vine clip after dead hand to get the shield, and you get a free skull as well.
Oh yeah, you can do that.
You get both.
That's very rare to see in bingo though. Like, not a lot of people are very comfortable doing that. I honestly don't know why. It is a pretty silly trick, and I mean silly in the meanest way possible. I don't like that trick at all.
Okay, maybe I should make a video for that too, because I have a baby setup for that is so free.
Honestly, that would be great. That would help me out a lot.
It requires, you need 1 frame perfect pause, but it's better than a frame perfect jump slash. So I'll you know what? Okay, all right. What's the list of setup videos I need to make? I need to make 8F's baby ground clip to DMC. I need to do 8F's baby
vine clip to
the bomb boost to the heart pieces in Gerudo Valley.
Oh yeah. The baby boost.
And then 8F's baby vine clip to shields.
Yeah. And yeah, Lake would also know that strat from Hundo, because he has that in Hundo.
Yes.
So that is true. I just assume it's weird, because it's very easy to get bogged down in these like tiny details when thinking about bingo, like what would be the fastest and most optimal way to do things, right?
Right.
But usually what ends up mattering the most is just doing what you're comfortable with. It's usually is that simple. Because what you are most comfortable with, you're just going to be executing on faster and more smoothly. So playing towards your comfort is usually what you see a lot of people do. And in Lake's case, yeah, I would assume that just means get sword, buy shield, and then think about what comes after.
Yeah. This is pretty standard from Lake. The Kakariko at night is a plethora of Skulltulas that are all really, really fast.
Oh yeah, there's 6 right here.
So
and
it's really standard to get all of these. And then do we call child reset. And I'm interested to see if Lake does it here, where you get some skulls in the Kokiri Forest area as well.
Yeah, the 30 skulls at a glance might seem like a lot of stuff to do, but it also is something. It's a goal that's been around a lot, so people have run it a lot. People have theory crafted it a lot, and a route for at least the initial parts of this goal has sort of formed. Whereas Ada said, you go to CAC, you do the stuff you want to do there. Easy comfort. Oh, he has 9 hearts. Wait a minute. Okay, you might get Dampe. Okay, this is great. But you go to CAC, you let it turn night, you go back in, you go for the Skulltulas, and then you go to the graveyard, you pick up a skull here, and then usually you save warp. As Chaudhry said, go back to Kokiri Forest, you have 2 skulls in there. Lost Woods, you have 2 skulls. So usually you go adults with 14 or 15 skulls already collected.
The bomb chew damage there that Lake had, only going for Dampe once, sad. The bomb chew damage that Lake was doing was attempting to do a Hess or hyper extended super slide. OOT has this very interesting glitch where if you are holding what we call ESS position or extended super slide position on the analog stick on your controller, it's the area just outside the dead zone of the controller where Link turns without stepping. And if you take damage, like shield and target damage on a certain frame while holding this position, you can get into this really fast movement state called hyper extended super slide, which is one of the cooler trick names we have. And it's very, very fast, and becoming competent at what we call backwalk chew hessing, which is where you drop a bomb chew on a certain, flash and while you're backwalking and then roll into it, is a way to save a lot of time as child, and is really what separates the gamers from the non-gamers, I would say.
Yeah, and doing that smoothly and like without losing a bunch of time is very, very tough. So
there's also an interesting question in chat about how these goals are determined. So the goals themselves are written by the community. We, over time, theory craft and come up with goals that are relatively aligning with how long we think a certain goal should take. And then there is
there's a bot,
basically a bot called Bingo Bot that takes all of these goals and tries to generate a card such that every row is technically completable in the same amount of time.
Same-ish amount of time. The bot wants like some rows to be better than others, because obviously like being good at row picking and recognizing what would be fast is a skill that we want to be able to highlight in Bingo.
Yeah.
So I think the goal time is, it aims for all the rows to be optimally like, I think 108 to 1013, 14.
1013, you guys.
Oh, yeah, 113. Yeah.
1013.
An hour 14 or an hour 8. Like, in that general ballpark is how it generates the rows. And on some previous versions, probably this version too, there are some goals where how long they take or what rows they shouldn't really be able to come up with is not accounted for. And noticing stuff like that is usually what we call like, a broken row. Like, let's say there could be some insane synergy that we didn't think of when creating the goals and balancing and inputting the data for BingoBot to use to generate the boards. That for some time just shows up in a generated board, and a runner goes, hang on, that looks fast. And then they get a 57-minute time with the row, and we're like, okay, yeah, that should not happen. And we try to fix it. But yeah, the list of goals that can show up is predetermined. So you can definitely practice like that part of it. But in the contexts that the goals show up and in which types of rows it will show up is almost impossible to predict.
Something that I think is really interesting is that this race in particular is two really skilled RTA players. Like, I wouldn't call either of these people Bingo mains.
No.
But they're both, just due to their vast RTA experience, are very competent at Bingo because their tech skill is so high.
Ahmad Sayre is literally the best all-dungeons runner in the world and has been speedrunning Ocarina of Time since 2011. He's ran almost every category under the sun at an incredibly high level. Has previous experience with Bingo from like way years back and joined the tourney this year for fun, essentially. And it's showing that, yeah, he still got it. And Lake is a relative newcomer, started in, I think, 2018 or 2019. And since then has also ran every category under the sun at a very competitive level. So they're both very, very, very skilled.
The tournament is really competitive this year.
It is. We've gotten too good at Bingo. It's a problem.
Yeah, you know what we should do is we should change all the goals. We should change all the goals.
Or just delete all of them and come up with new ones.
I would be interested to try Bingo 1.0 now.
Oh, yeah?
Because Bingo 1.0, the goals were hilarious now.
Well, I remember there's being a goal that's just defeat Ganon.
That's a great goal. Beating the game was just a goal, which is hilarious because you have to finish on it.
You have to.
I think the fastest rows ever played, at least in recent memory, were in the 50-minute range.
You usually, if someone gets a...
so rare.
Sub-hour is really rare. And like sub 55 is really rare. I can't think of...
I can't think of that ever happening. At least in recent memory, when Bingo has become pretty standard in the last like 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
Like, the thing that's so incredible to me about the Bingo balancing effort by the community members that do it is, like, in general, bingo times have not changed that much in the last like 8 or 9 years. Like a great player should be able to consistently or semi-consistently get sub 110. And that has been true at least since we switched to the Japanese version of the game, which was 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's also just a constant like state of we figure out, oh wait, this row shouldn't be this fast because we get better at the game and we figure out new ways to route things, right? That's just the process of the speed game evolving and existing for a time. So we figure out that stuff and it's like, oh, well, we want the bingo times to be around 110, 120. Like that's the time we want bingo to be. So it's just a constant state of essentially making the rows worse and worse, like giving ourselves worse and worse rows just to sort of hamper the collective skill level increasing, if that makes sense.
Apparently Tob had a 53 in the last year.
Ooh.
Dude is nutty.
Yeah.
I wonder if anybody still has... Runner Guide, do you have the list of 1.0 goals anywhere? Because I know it's not hosted anywhere anymore. Yeah, the Japanese version is faster just from text. And for years, we played on the English version because the idea being that it was the most accessible version of the game to the vast majority of people. But in recent years, we've pivoted to the Japanese version just because cutscenes are annoying.
It's also slowly become the more accessible version with N64 kind of, and needing actual cartridge is becoming less of a requirement for OT speedrunning as a whole, as having switched over to mainly be on PC. So normally, like if you're gonna get Ocarina of Time on the Nintendo Wii VC, it's gonna be way easier for you to do that in Japanese. So more people were playing on Japanese coming from the speedrunning side. So then it's just, let's just switch over bingo as well while we're at it. Yeah, so here we see Alma is going into Dampe. What time do you think we'll be getting?
I'm looking at a 48 from
48?
swordless 48 from Alma here.
47, no doubt. He's the GOAT.
I don't know, the fire, man. Who knows?
Dampe looks nice today. He got it out his anger on Link earlier.
That's true, that's true.
Oh, look at these corners. Oh, I take it back. Okay, I guess he went. God damn it.
Well,
actually,
it could
a
still
48
be a 49.
with
It could still be a 49.
Yeah, like a 48 with a flame is actually really good. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say 48 with flame is kind of fast, especially swordless.
Yeah. Yeah, looking like a 49 or a 50. You can usually. Oh. Okay. Okay, 49.
49.
Oh.
Okay, well, I'm going to call my shot early that if Lake has a sword, it's a 47 because he's warmed up.
I think you're correct on one front. He's going to have sword. But I do think it's going to be a 48.
Okay.
Because I assume that we will be seeing no trade questing from Lakeside. You usually don't see it with 30 skulls. Because if you want to do the adult trade quest to set up for a lot of the useful RBA items that you see Alma using here with Kajiro and later going to be using Poacher Saw. If you want 30 skulls, it becomes kind of awkward because the trade quest start will set it to be very, very early morning as you enter CAC. And then the time of day is kind of frozen or very early in the morning when you go through the rest of the overworld areas where you usually want to pick up skulls. So doing trade quest together with 30 skulls is pretty awkward. You can make it work if you have a lot of dungeon goals, because dungeons have their skulls just there regarding of time of day. but the only real dungeon goal he has is Forest Temple. So I'm assuming no trade quest here for Lake. We're just going to be going off to the races with our goals.
So no child 2 shenanigans in this race. This is both of our players are going to be adult for the rest.
Yep.
Pretty standard routing for Amma here, I think. But for Lake, I think is going to be a little more interesting with no trade quest. As far as, seeing what he does first.
Yeah, like I will also say that routing, I assume that Master Sword cutscene was very, very heavily used on Lakeside to write down some notes and a route, because he has to figure out a way to get 9 hearts and 30 skulls. And routing that optimally on the fly is almost impossible. So we'll see where he takes the trip. Initially, just gonna be stopping by here, RBing a Poe here for a little Bonchu refill. So killing the Poe, I'm gonna be sending a bottle on B here. And then if you pay attention to his Bonchu count, he will hit 29 in like 5 seconds or so. So there he has a Poe with it on C right. Next time he drops his B button, he'll go to 20. And then when he catches bugs on his B button, he'll go to 29. And you see Amma having already done that. Rocking his 29, now 28 bomb shoes. Just continuing the trade quest. Gonna be, because he does want Stella's Lullaby later for obtaining all the 5 keys in Shadow Temple. You do need to cross the big boat river thing in late Shadow Temple, which you need CL for. Also, while going through Goron City, just testing through some rocks here, picking up the gold rupee chest in the corner. So that's going to be his 3rd gold rupee, I think. Pretty sure.
It's so funny to me how far we have come. Like, in 2013, RBA rows were like so rare because RBAing was so time consuming.
Oh yeah.
Because you had to steal the fishing rod, or do Lon stick on B. Like, there were all these annoying things that you had to do. And it's just very funny to me that now it's like, well, yeah, of course you have black gauntlets. You'll always have black gauntlets if you need them. Whereas, like, back in the day, you had to know how to skip every single silver block just in case. And you still do. I mean, you still should know how to skip the important ones, but...
Like, all those got linked.
What a sentence. This will not be a 47, as I had prophesied.
I don't think it will be a 48 either. He's also still rocking bottle on B, so we were both wrong on that front.
It's going to be a 51.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
No! He didn't target at the end! Oh, Lake, no! So fun fact about the camera in Ocarina of Time. When you go through a hallway, if you're very close to the wall, it can sometimes just flip. And right there at the end, that's what happened. So Lake walked through the opening, the door started closing behind him, and it flipped the camera, so he then just got crushed by the door and he's sent back right to the start of the race and has to do it all over again. It's very, very unfortunate. That only happens if the spacing of his rolls ends up being in a way so that he stops roll right on the camera transitioning plane there. You can fix it by targeting here. I assume we'll be seeing that. No, he's just timing his roll differently, which also works.
I have never had that happen to me. I feel like now it is going to happen, but I have never seen that happen.
You can make sure that it never happens to you if you do targeted rolls at the end, or just make sure that you actually roll through the opening and don't end a roll right there in the little hallway opening thingy.
Fascinating.
OT's a great game, man. That's a good game. Anyway,
Not getting Song of Storms Heart Piece right now, I guess. Oh, I guess if he's doing Odd Mushroom.
Yeah, if he's doing Odd Mushroom, he doesn't want to get it right now. And usually you want hover boots in a row like this. And with no trade quest, you'd want to go to Shadow immediately after Hookshot. And
Well,
just do the
see,
rest of
but
calculating.
you've clearly not seen the 8F setup video where the fast ledge clip after the Song of Storms Heart Piece. So you go straight back to Dampe's Grave.
I have not, actually.
Well, it's not very fast if you take more than one attempt, but you know, hey, it could be good.
Sure. That sounds very interesting. I'll save that to my watch later playlist.
Oh yeah.
That's some evening viewing pleasure for me right there.
Yeah, nice little 45 seconds. Great. So this is pretty standard Shadow entry without Nocturne from Lake here. This is a form of seam walking, but with ISG you can't fall off ledges, and so you can sort of run around on some collision that is otherwise quite difficult to maneuver. It is possible to do without ISG, just kind of hard.
Yep. Allows you to just side hop over the little loading trigger there that if you saw last race, both our runners used bombs to push through it. But
yeah,
if you're up there, you can just side hop over it.
I imagine we'll see Bongo here.
Yeah, usually with 9 hearts, you will usually see one boss. Ironically, it's usually 1 or 3. It's very rarely 2. So, but the one boss that is almost always gotten 99.9% of the time is going to be Bongo, because he's very, very quick to get to right after hover boots, and you almost always want hover boots in your bingo. Because it's just a very useful item to have.
So we're going to see boat key skip here from Lake. This was a pretty interesting trick that entered the scene, I guess, a few years ago now. It doesn't really feel like it, but in the grand scheme of OOT things, I guess this is fairly recent.
Does he have bombs?
No, he's using Bomb Chew.
Okay, well then he can't do boat key. Then
Can
it's
you
just
not
the
do
normal
boat key with Chews?
if you're a TAS, but
Oh, okay.
you have
he's
to settle
he's
for the
gonna do
normal boat
the mega
plus
flip.
key skip.
Yeah, so you can use Choose to boss key skip. So basically what's happening here is Lake is mega flipping to a very specific like corner where this mound meets the wall. And the collision for various areas in a dungeon are always loaded. It's just the textures that are not there and the enemies and actors that aren't loaded. So Lake has like the area of a dungeon literally exists in 3D space. Like when you enter a door, you're not being teleported to a different location. The room is genuinely right there physically. So that was very clean. Lake mega flips down into the boss area, which is just below and away a little bit. It's kind of a hard mega flip. And then he does a boss key skip with a ledge clip and a boost from a bomb chew to get past the boss door, because boss loading zones are also always present in the dungeon.
Yep. Very cleanly done. Always kind of scary to do, because you mega flip into this massive unloaded room which is supposed to be, even if you can see stuff in that room, it's supposed to be this like hover boots platforming challenge, right? So you're just maneuvering that without even seeing the platforms, and then doing a very specific position setup to do a ledge clip into a damage boost to get past the boss door. It's very cool. But Lake knows exactly what he's doing. Did a very
clean bongo fight as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ama just got good luck or a lot of Dampe farming, but he has 40 bombs.
I think he bought bombs.
Oh, did he buy
from the
bombs?
Garage shop, or because he got the gold rupee, so he could. I have to say, I was distracted by the.
Yeah, I
boat
was
skip,
watching. Yeah,
so I got distracted. I'm sorry, Ama. I was doing the fire gold rupee chest right now, which, fair. He's kind of at the point where it doesn't matter too much when he does his different goals.
This row feels so fast. Wait, but does he have hover boots yet?
Ama? Oh, does he not?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. So I'm not sure how he's planned. Maybe he's just doing this, getting the boss key, and then leaving. Because you do have to leave.
You have to leave at some point. So let's hope he.
Yeah. Okay. That's what he's doing.
Okay.
So he's just playing a song here, and then he'll come back and do fire in 2 trips.
Okay. Actually, I kind of like that.
I don't hate that. I am not confident that it's faster.
But the vibes are good.
Yeah, the vibes are good.
The vibes are good, and I think that's what really matters.
We have one goal on the board for both of our players. Obviously, that is not a pure indication of who is ahead or behind.
Oh, it absolutely
we saw in the last race, where Link had 3 goals and Lake had 1, and then Lake won. So obviously not a pure indication, but you know, it's always nice to see green squares.
Always a little free hit of dopamine.
It is. It gives the good chemicals. When you complete a goal, you're like, oh wait, everything's fine.
And it's always stressful if you're 53 minutes into a bingo and you look over your goals and you're like, man,
I haven't done anything.
Nothing's green. And then you look back 2 minutes later, it's like, whoa, everything's green.
This is crazy.
We're very simple animals. Oh my god. Speaking of simple or not simple animals, this windmill jump is impossible. I swear.
Bro, just do the hook shot. Just do the hook shot. This is so nasty. You have a sword. There's no reason not to just do the hook shot.
Hey, but the vibes are good, Ada. The vibes are great.
Okay, all right, okay. He's using the hook shot now. Dude, no, that's slow now. Bro.
He knew you were watching, Ada, and he just wanted you to see that.
Unbelievable.
So Lake is on his skull and hearts journey, which is honestly like the main thing he has to do. Because the rest, like Mirror Shield and beating Forest Temple, that's very straightforward. Like it's just go there, do that thing, boom. Very straightforward. So I am curious to see where he's going to be going. Luckily, a lot of the 9 hearts, the meta, as we like to call it, sort of routes itself, depending on what other goals you have. So essentially here, he has a Mirror Shield goal, or a Spirit Temple goal in Mirror Shield, which like gives you a path of movement there, right, that you have to take, no matter what you do. So you kind of look at that path and go, okay, well, where are some heart pieces that I can get? So he's going to be getting, I'm assuming, 2 in Gerudo Valley. And maybe, oh my god.
No, dude.
Oh my god.
That is so unfortunate. Okay, so both
when did
players,
he save last?
I don't know.
Shadow Temple? I think
both
so.
Both players are playing on the Virtual Console version of the game, and there's this cool little quirk of the Wii Virtual Console version of Ocarina of Time that the game just sometimes crashes. And I believe this is the second time this has happened to Lake in this tournament.
Yes, it is. He just save warped out of Shadow, so it's not the worst thing, but it isn't good. And it's insanely lucky. That is just completely out of his control. It's nothing he could have done about that.
That's probably like a minute.
I think almost more, because he has to do
get the heart piece again.
Yeah, heart piece again. He needs to hookshot jump here, go to the window. That is
by the ferry as well.
Oh, that is so unfortunate.
There's there's nothing you can do about it. Like there's genuinely nothing you can do about it. Just play on N64 and accept the time lost to lag.
Yeah, that is one of the things that we all hope that we never have to talk about when we talk about this game. But yeah.
It's so tragic. It's like some kind of memory underflow or something.
Yeah, it's a memory leak issue of the Virtual Console emulator. But it's not common enough where it's usually an issue. but it's kind of insane that it's happened twice to Lake this tournament.
It's very funny to me how bad Nintendo is at emulating their own games.
It's also very funny that the Wii VC is like the best one they've made. And it just has this stuff, right? And that just goes to show something. Not a lot of people play on GameCube, because unfortunately it's kind of worse. The save warps on GameCube is really bad.
GameCube is so bad. It also can crash.
It's more prone to crashing. So it's not ideal.
Yeah, this is way more than a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, in the grand scheme of VC crashes, this is not that bad.
Yeah.
What really sucks is like when you VC crash in the middle of trade quests and you're like at Poacher's Saw.
Yep. Yeah, and you're just thrown back to the last save warp that you did, which was like
a million years ago.
Yep.
Oh my god, that is so tragic.
Yeah.
Between that and the Dampe void out, that's like 3 minutes that he's lost already, probably.
Yeah. It's just super unfortunate, again, because it's one thing if something happens and you lose like 2 minutes to a mistake you make. Like, that's one thing, you can work on that, you can fix it. But if it's something that's just completely out of your control, like not even RNG, it's just a random crash.
And it's happened to every VC player at least once.
I have only had one.
Oh no, I have had so many VC crashes. In Bingo,
I had a few on GC that like are just like due to me messing around, but I've only had one actual like VC crash.
I have VC crashed in Bingo probably twice, but I have VC crashed in an RTA once or twice, and I've VC crashed in Rando like 5 times.
Dang. Okay, I've crashed in Rando, but I can't be like mentally. There's something stopping me. Like maybe this wasn't like an actually VC
Yeah,
crash.
exactly. I feel the exact same way. When I VC crash in Rando, I just have this slight feeling that like this feels like not the VC's problem.
Like maybe this wasn't a VC issue. Maybe it's yeah. But I've only had one crash ever, and I've been speedrunning the game for almost 4 or 5 years now.
Okay, Lake is doing like my favorite trick, and also a trick that either last year or 2 years ago was demystified on this very stream.
Oh yeah, because you didn't know why it was called Doom Jump.
So this trick is called Doom Jump, which is the best name ever, and I assumed, like everybody, that it's called Doom Jump because you die and jump, which is a sick name for a trick in which that happens. Turns out it's called Doom Jump because a guy called Doom found it, and I was so mad.
He didn't even really found it. He just kind of took it from another person, and his name stuck on it. It's a whole thing.
That's so dumb. Can we rewrite history and it's called Doom Jump because you jump and die?
That's what I call it, a DC hookshot jump. Or just try
that name is so lame.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you, Ada.
Let's name it after players who don't play. It's the Dome Star jump now.
The Dome Star.
It's the Shaden jump.
The Shaden jump, yeah. There's a... Well, here's the patent pendant Alma Hess in Shadow. Oh, is he actually going to get this? This is pretty cool. If he equips hover boots here, he can keep this hover boots momentum going all the way. Oh, is he going to...
Oh, Lake!
Did
Lake backflipped, but didn't turn the camera on the staircase. And he didn't get either Skulltula. Because he was going to hookshot the other one from the back.
Oh.
Dude. Lake is... I would be malding so bad.
Ooh, I'd be malding if I was Alma too. Alma just voided after nailing this first part of the Hess. And got sent all the way to the start again. Okay, that looks good. Oh, Alma! Oh, that's... Is he just gonna save warp? Yeah, you just save warp.
He must have already saved.
Yeah. Ooh,
Okay, well that's a good sign for signs of life for Lake.
Yeah, this gives Lake. I'm not gonna say an out, because he is still gonna be a fair bit behind, but it gives him more of a fighting chance. With the VC crash earlier. All right. Is Lake opting KD
I
here?
hate this strat. I hate this strat.
That looks good. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, if you get the Navi text of an enemy on the same frame as you activate the switch there, you break free a little bit before you're supposed to. Oh, how did he get a jump there? What? All right, round 3 for Alma on this Hess. Okay, Hess is good. Makes the jump. Looks good. Okay, cool. Yeah, that little tiny seam there that Alma just jumped to and landed on, you can only be on the left side of that. If you're on the right side, you will slip off. And the left side is pretty small. And you don't have great aerial control of your movement in this game. It's fairly limited.
KD is down for Lake. That's another heart. This puts him at 6.
Yep. Do we know if his skull tracker is accurate?
I do not know.
I don't think he's missed any on his tracker. He didn't get the 2 in DC, which if he had gotten it, I think he would have been at 17, so I think 15 is correct. Which is lower than he would like, of course, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, there are a few skulls that he can get. He's going in Forest Temple. You can get 4 skulls in Forest pretty quickly. So that's a fairly easy one. And if Time of Day ends up in his favor, there's quite a few good ones he can get on the way to Mirror Shield. Most of the good ones you usually get are in dungeons though. But there is also going to be a nice one up here on Death Mountain Trail, if he so chooses to go there. Oh, he didn't want to grab that ledge. And there's also going to be a skull in Grand City. Oh, nice camera yet again. Let's see if he opts for the... Oh, there we go. We'll see if he opts for the heart piece here, or if he thinks that's going to be too rough on Time of Day. Yeah, I think so too. Just hessing straight to Grand City.
That's a good Hess for Time of Day.
Yeah, I think if he goes for the heart piece there, he is going to be playing it pretty tight.
It's also like there are so many heart pieces.
Yeah,
I feel like
there's
it's
a lot.
Gonna be fine.
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna do the little mega here and equip hover boots. And this is yet again gonna clip him out of bounds. And if he holds right, using the hover boots momentum out of bounds, he's gonna be loading into or landing in the unloaded Darunia room. So he can just maneuver his way using the minimap over to Death Mountain Crater.
Hopefully Lake isn't too upset about the VC crash.
Yeah. Alma with a Sora's Domain Hess. Love to see it.
Why was he down at the bottom of Sora's Domain?
He played a Serenade to get there.
Oh, okay.
From the Shadow Temple. It's just faster, like overworld.
Yeah.
Wise. Also gives a good excuse to farm some bombs if you wanted to.
Can't farm bombs, we're trying to win.
Oh, I love this. We are 2 people in the world who do this method of entering Jabba. It's me and Alma. It's incredibly dumb. But it saves 1.5 seconds.
The like roughly setup-less hover boots are already equipped.
Yeah, you just kind of, you side up, side roll from the initial angle you have. You roll 5 or 6 times-ish until you get to a spot, turn right, and then just pull the bomb and go. It's great.
I love when a trick has a setup, and then halfway through the setup, you just go, I don't know, walk forward until it looks right.
Well, you'd actually have decent cues for it, right? Because you have your left-right position gets truncated by the fence. So that just solves that. And you can, due to hover boots momentum, like decreasing for a bit, as soon as you notice that little side push, you can let go of your analog stick. And that just puts you in the good spot. It's great. It's actually super, like, it's like they designed that fence to be like clipped into. It's great.
The early methods of adult Jabu were so nuts that it's really cool to me that it's like not that hard now.
Yeah, adult Jabu is very possible. It's honestly not even that bad, I dare say.
Yeah, once you learn it once, you're chilling.
Yeah, as with a lot of OT stuff, it will involve like pausing on a certain frame, and unfortunately, that's kind of like hard to avoid in OT. Like that's gonna frame perfect inputs are very much a thing no matter where you go in OT. But luckily, we can pause buffer that. So,
Lake doing a very cool version of Minuet cutscene skip. Largely, it's fast, but also he has a lot of hearts, so damaging down to die on this cutscene would be time-consuming.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's doing this void-out version where you get a trick called Down A, which is this weird thing that happens when you like take damage as you try to climb something, or you like shield damage as you're trying to climb something. And it puts Link in this like super weird state that has like a lot of weird side effects.
Yeah, slopes like stop working. Oh,
that bomb drop.
The octobombs chilling at the bottom. Oh.
You also like can use restricted items in boss rooms. Like stuff is weird. The camera is strange. Anyway, it allows you to climb this slope really nicely and side hop out where there's no collision. And then you just void out as the cutscene begins, and that skips the cutscene.
Yeah, it's great. Because as with most warp songs in this game, or any songs really, you get the song twice. Once at the start of the cutscene, and once when you actually like learn the cutscene, lore-wise, I suppose. I don't know why they did that as a failsafe. Maybe they had like 3 people, different people working on it, using different, I don't know, ideas. Who knows?
Maybe
anyway,
they were worried about,
nice.
Like, it might have been because of the Bolero heat timer.
Maybe.
Like, maybe they foresaw some weird thing where if you died as you entered that cutscene, like maybe it was an issue.
Maybe. Who knows? Could be. There's a lot of things in OT that's like, it's very weird that it works like this, but my god, am I thankful for it.
Okay, Amma's on like really good pace right now.
Yeah, yeah, he does not have a lot left. He is missing his Fire Gold Rupee and GTG Gold Rupee.
And then, which is on the way to Silvers anyway.
Yep.
This is like
looking very good.
I think this is sub 110 pace.
I think so too. Oh yeah, he's already gotten 1 key here.
Yeah, so it's
only
like
needs
5 minutes. 5 minutes, maybe less.
I think 5's around. Well, it might actually be 4 because yeah, he doesn't have to do the runic cutting skip or anything. Does he have Serenade?
Yes.
Yes, he does. He has his ERB Poacher Saw.
Yeah, so pretty fast to get to GTG from there.
I'm curious. Lake is just opting for Spirit from here, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Just giving the bomb patches, or the grass patches here, a chance for some bomb drops. Here we go. Should be enough.
I'd be worried about time of day here.
He's chilling on 20 skulls. He's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he hasn't even done Forest yet, I guess.
Yeah. I think it'll be fine.
I'm a
Worst
big
case scenario, you can
proponent
pick up a few in speed.
of save early and often in bingo.
Yeah.
Like, anytime you're in a dungeon and you've just paused and equipped something, you might as well just press B and then A. Yeah, you lose half a second, but like, what if you VC crash?
Yeah. What if? And I guess like Lake got intimately familiar with that concept this race.
Yeah, but ultimately, Lake really did not lose that much time.
Yeah,
in the
it
grand
was
scheme
fine.
Of a VC crash.
Yeah, it can be so much worse. It's also, I mean, it's still going to be like stressful, and especially if you're up for your tournament life versus someone like Alma, who's, I'm gonna say it, absolutely terrifying in a bingo race. Losing time like that, it's sure to put a dent in your nerves at least.
Yeah, there is. I don't know that we've mentioned that yet this race, but this is the losers bracket in a double elimination tournament. So whoever loses here is out of the tournament for good.
Yep.
And
Alma is
the
almost done.
winner will face. T2 beat Egma, so the winner will face T2.
Yep. Correct. And that match was also decided earlier today, before today's GDQ stream. So, been a lot of very high impact races today. Alma skipping opening the shortcut at the bottom there, which, if he fails this, is gonna end up costing him a bit, but he's very comfortable with this hover, so I'd be surprised if this goes badly.
This hover is fine.
Yeah, you just line up the hook shot there on the corner. You do 12 or 11-ish hovers. Doesn't matter too much. You do a backflip, and you're good.
Man, this trick before this setup was found was so awful. It was miserably bad.
It's so cozy now.
I know.
It's actually
like,
so fine.
It's so chill.
Mm-hmm. Lake, is that 7 hearts he's got? Yes. It's on 7. I'm assuming he will hit 8, picking up this heart. Man.
Oh, Ama, this is going to be tight, but I think he's going to be fine.
I think he's fine. There we go. That last roll was actually kind of risky, because if he had bonked on the chest, I don't think he... I see bomb-awaying here.
Yeah, he's been bomb-awaying so much.
There we go. Yeah, it's this HP, then mirror HP, and then Phantom Cannon. Yeah. He has 22 skulls, so he... It's looking kind of rough for Lake here, I'm gonna be honest. Because Alma is almost done. He just needs to take a little pit stop in GTG, get that gold rupee, which he has Black Gauntlet, so he's very safely gonna be able to just push the block. No funny business about it. And then Silver Gauntlets is just a Spirit Hover away. Meanwhile, Lake has to do Spirit Hover, get Mirror Shield, pick up 8 more Skulltulas, 1 more Heart Piece, a Heart Container, and also go and beat Force Temple. I'm very interested to see where he's going to be getting his last skulls from.
Yet another sign skip. Interesting tidings, my friends. Interesting results here on the bingo stream.
It just happened. I swear, every restream I've done of this, people have been very, very kosher about their sign slashing. They've been very good. As soon as you put them on GDQ, no. They refuse. Look what the big stage does to people.
I know, it's you
truly
forget,
a shame.
You forget what's important.
Forget your roots.
I know.
Sad sight.
This skull that, and maybe I'm alone in this, but this skull that Lake just got, for some reason in my brain, it is time of day dependent, but I know it's not. Like, I know it's always there, but for some reason I'm like, it's gotta be nighttime.
No, I completely agree with you. When he entered Gerudo Fortress earlier, in my head I was like, oh, that means he misses the Wasteland skull because he entered like in the morning. And I was just afraid to say it because I didn't want to sound uninformed. So I refrained, and I'm honestly very glad that you spoke up first. Because now I feel comfortable in my situation.
Maybe it's because the further skulls are all time of day.
Mm-hmm. It could
like
be.
the ones in Colossus are all nighttime.
I would love to be able to say something that like, oh, it's because time of day is static here. So like the skulls are always there. But it doesn't line up with any of the other towns. It doesn't line up with like half of the other random no time of day passing areas. This game is not consistent at all in its gold sculptural rulings. And frankly, it bothers me. It does.
As it should.
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Wait, that jump slash is so sick.
Yeah. Just remember to target, because if you don't, you will recoil on the flame wall. I've learned that the painful way many a times by forgetting to target, getting hit by the flame wall. It's like, oh man, I'm supposed to target. And then 2 days later, when I do my next bingo, I forget to target. And it's like, oh yeah, I was supposed to target. And then cue that for like 2.5 years, and now I've finally remembered. Like doing spirit hover here to get up to the mirror shield.
Amma has really low health here.
Oh, the text. He's out of nuts actually. He's fine. He's like,
oh my god. Okay, don't get eaten by a like.
Press the switch. I don't think he has yet. Lake nailing the super slide cross. Oh, he's getting ground jumped now. This is actually nice. I like this little development. This didn't used to be commonly done.
I'm gonna say it. I have never missed that hook shot in my life. I don't know why this one in particular is so easy, but like I feel like I just know where to aim for that one.
It is a vibes thing, and it's just you just have a general idea. Like I was saying, like it's like it's like ish there. It's very similar to the hook shot target in Shadow Temple, in the deep small key room with the redeads and the invisible spikes.
Yeah, you just know.
Yeah, it's like there-ish. You maybe miss once or twice, but you usually get it in the end.
I feel like I missed that one way more than I missed this one.
Really? They're about the same for me. It's usually like a second or third try shot, which honestly, that's okay. We take that.
Okay, so Amma is nearly done.
Yeah, he's almost done. He just needs the silver gauntlets, and he's golden. Well, silver, right? Well, no, he's winning, so golden would be. Ignore me.
Okay. And Lake with a clean seam walk here. I feel like Lake has played pretty well. It's just between the VC crash and the Dampe void out. It's just like, that's at least like 3 minutes loss. I do think Amma's row might be a little bit faster overall, but Amma also has been playing really, really well. I feel like the Shadow Temple death was really the only big mistake.
Yep. It was the Shadow Temple death, and I mean, besides that, everything's been really clean.
Yeah, and now it's just forest for Lake too.
So he still needs a heart at the arch.
Yeah, well, no, he already got that.
Oh,
he's on 8 right now.
Oh yeah, he's on 8. Yeah. Okay. I can't count.
So it's just forest for Lake. So I mean, if a disaster strikes for Amma, who knows?
He does also need some skulls in forest, so he's gonna be in here a bit, but it's not gonna be as long as you might think. Oh wait, he has to get some. Does he have to get this skull?
Maybe he just doesn't want to do one of the deeper forest skulls.
Yeah, I would assume you trade this one for... I don't know. Do you trade this one for the basement skull?
Yeah, I was just about to say, I guess basement. I mean, I don't know if he has a setup for with bugs.
Because you have the... Oh, my, just super like nice. Ooh, Lake with a moblin boost. Yeah, because you have the first room, you have the courtyard, you have the main room, you have the other courtyard. You can skip
maybe second courtyard. Either second courtyard or basement is what he's looking to skip here.
Yeah, because the second courtyard you have to do a damage boost or like a mega jump, or I don't know what you call those things where you equip hover boots on. Like
I think it's a mega jump.
Yeah.
Hover boots boost. I don't know.
I have no clue.
We got too many names.
Oh, that's a very low.
That's so low. Alma's definitely gonna have to look out for the Gwei.
Yeah.
Okay, so skipping basement.
Yeah, this is the moment of truth. He kind of needs this hover, actually. If he messes this up, then he is very low on explosives.
Playing it super safe with the Gwei. I don't blame him.
There it is.
This should be GG.
Yeah, one turn to the left there. Line up here. Walk up a bit. And then let's just hook shot the chest and open it. And there we go. There it is.
This'll be it. This'll be it. This is a 109.03 from Ama. Incredibly good showing here for a GDQ tournament showcase. I mean, my God, 109 is really solid.
Oh, yeah. A very fast time.
That is really, really good. And now, honestly, Lake does not have that much left.
No, he beat Forest Temple. Like, it's a goal that it's done as soon as you lose control of the Blue Warp. So he needs to get these last little skulls here, and then it's just do a boss key skip and defeat Phantom Ganon, pick up the Heart Container, walk in the Blue Warp, which takes like 3 minutes tops. Like, he's not far behind, and that's like roughly what lost. It's a bit more than what he lost for the VZ crash, so it's not all condensed in that, but it would have been insanely close had that not happened.
Yeah, I think the Dampe Void Out and the VC crash, if those two things had not happened, it would be, I think Ama would still win.
Yeah, but it would be like a minute or like 30 seconds between. Like, it would have been very close.
But to be fair, you could also say the same thing about like, well, if Ama didn't void out in Shadow, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
like,
it becomes an infinite game of like, oh well, what ifs. It's the classic like speedrunner thing of like, oh well, if I just didn't make mistakes, I would have world record. It's
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, of course. You know. Oh, like being
dude, that Deku Baba.
Oh.
29, so just the lobby skull, and then good to go. Solid skull routing, I would say overall. Skull and heart routing from Lake.
Yeah, he missed the 2 in DC, but I think he salvaged that well.
Yeah, I think he salvaged it really well with the
Colossus skulls.
Yeah, it would have just been the Colossus skulls he would have skipped.
Yeah, exactly, runner guy. It's like, oh, if I had played perfectly and done absolutely no mistakes, I would have won. It's like, yeah, you're not wrong, but everyone makes mistakes, right? And making mistakes is part of the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did he? Oh, he voided.
I don't like this setup that Lake is doing personally.
Really? I love it.
I feel like the hookshot backflip up on the railing is really nice. And you can just like target as you drop and backwalk into Phantom Ganon. I don't know.
I mean, there you just like go to the ledge and hold up. I don't know what Lake did to void there, honestly. The rough part about that one is you have to press hookshot and A to backflip on the same frame. But everything after that is very cozy. Yeah, it's not his fault he VC crashed, but he's also like it's more than the VC crash in difference.
Yeah, I agree.
But it is also definitely a very tilting thing to have happened.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I think the VC crash was not the decider. You could argue that like the VC crash caused him to play where Switch caused, but like we don't know that.
Yeah, that's an entire rabbit hole that's impossible to go down. Like once you go down that rabbit hole, then like anything's possible, right? Then all of a sudden, like, maybe Alma doesn't void in Shadow.
Right.
And, like,
and also, this is a low 113 with a VC crash.
Yeah, like that's pretty darn
sick.
good. That's pretty fucking impressive. Pretty freaking impressive. That's really good. But yeah, that is going to be it for Lake shortly. He just needs to watch Phantom Ganon slowly disintegrate here, pick up the heart container, and then walk in the blue one. An unfortunate way to go out with the tourney from Lakeside, but it is
still got to be happy with your. You got to be happy with your play still. I feel like.
Yeah, like it is a tournament. Unfortunately, someone has to lose. It's how it is. Yeah. And the nature of it being the losers bracket is going to be the last race you play. And still, as you said earlier, a mid 113 with a VC crash in it. It's hella impressive.
Gamers, that's going to be our OOT Bingo Tournament Showcase. I want to thank Nale for joining me on commentary, first of all. It's been a blast.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I also want to thank our players. We had Link 11, Literally Lake, and Amataseru. I want to thank all of them for, it's stressful to do it on GDQ instead of just, on a normal stream, head down, time to bingo. This is a whole other layer of they've got to do tech checks, they've got to schedule things. So I appreciate it, and I recognize that it is a heightened level of stress, but I think it's important that we showcase bingo to everybody so that hopefully we can get some new people in the bingo community. So that being said, gamers, do not let these people's hard work go to waste. If you enjoyed what you saw today and you have any interest in bingoing on your own, I cannot recommend it enough. It is my favorite thing. So please join the Ocarina of Time speedrunning Discord. You can find that link via the OOT page on speedrun.com. And I highly recommend you check it out and maybe consider doing a bingo sometime. Just, why not? So thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you everybody for playing. We do not have the end of hotfix now, though. What a weird way for me to say that. That is not the end of our stream. There is more hotfix content coming up. PB Precipice is not the end of our Sunday here on GDQ. Everybody should stick around because there is more hotfix gaming coming up. I have been ADEF Gamers. Some quick announcements as I sign off here. If you ever miss out on any hotfix shows or past events like Flame Fatales, be sure to check out the VODs on youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick. This stream, additionally, will be posted there. Your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel help support hotfix. So please consider subscribing if you enjoy the daily speedrunning content. Gamers, we have more speedrunning coming up. Right after this, it looks like it might be some Ratchet and Clank, potentially. So everybody stick around, and Hotfix will be right back.